Peace. It's Afri-Culture concepts. Hold on, real quick. Okay, Afri-Culture concepts back on the scene. I know I've been missing for a second, man. I've been grinding. You know what I mean? Multiple things, working on multiple things at one time, at different times, and one time simultaneously. But today, I just wanted to go live and have a discussion with a brother that you guys need to follow or subscribe to. It's gonna be the Jahiz Podcast on that YouTube. Go to the YouTube search bar and type in the Jahiz Podcast. Matter of fact, give me a sec. Let me type it in for y'all. Let me make sure I type it in for y'all so y'all know how to spell it real quick. Okay. So make sure that y'all follow or subscribe to that his podcast that is on YouTube. Make sure you go to the YouTube link, the YouTube search bar, and type in the Jahiz Podcast. All right. And that's who we're going to be speaking with today because, we have a lot of, I don't expect you guys to, fully grasp everything that easily. It's information that you're not used to hearing, you know what I mean? And dealing with the Afrocentric narrative, that's something that we've been dealing with for, I say at least the past 50 years, maybe less, maybe more. I might be incorrect, but it's a lot of misinformation going on. And I just think this is a good person, to bring in on the podcast, and we can have some of those discussions, some of those hard discussions that, people don't like to talk about or they just don't like to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my boy Gullah Betty, Gullah Betty from the Jahiz Podcast, just so we can go ahead and get that started, man. What's going on with it? Appreciate you for coming to the show.
No problem, bro.
Definitely. I think you got some like some feedback, like some clicking sounds on there, but I could hear you.
Yo. Is that better?
Yeah. You sound good.
Yeah, what's up with it, bro? Man, just chilling, man. Just vibing out. You know what I'm saying? It's an honor to be here on your channel, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know you rep West Africa hard. You know what I'm saying? You bang for West Africa hard like I do all day. A lot of people out here, when they jump into this information, they jump out here thinking they Egyptian or thinking they Native American, thinking they something else, other than Western Central Africans.
Definitely. And it's a stigma, that a lot of people have, that follow or they try to, keep up with maybe like African history or African paleontology, anthropology, genetics, stuff like that. And when they presented this it's really not new information, but to our community, African American community, and maybe some sub-Saharan Africans, they meet us with like cognitive dissonance, and honestly, it's really, I get name call, I get the names, I get the I'm biased and all that. I've even had some people tell me that I don't understand, it's political agendas behind it, behind resources and stuff like that. I've even had someone tell me that, Arabs, they lay claim to Egypt because it's a oil producing country, which, don't get me wrong, it is an oil producing country. Libya is an oil producing country. But what about oil producing countries in sub-Saharan Africa, like Equatorial Guinea, where the leadership, they keep all the resources to themselves and they don't create. I mean, last time I checked is, I seen a news article, where the reporter was like, hey, Equatorial Guinea could be like the third largest oil producer in the world, but you don't have people creating jobs and basically processes to where, not only they're gonna benefit, but the people gonna benefit from it by giving them opportunities, and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just feel like a lot of this stuff, it's just pulled out the side of people's neck. When you really don't, you really just now coming into it, you really shouldn't be having these conversations. You should just sit back and do the research, do comparative research. Don't just do a quick Google search, and come up with the first thing that pop up. If you're gonna use Google, you need to use Wikipedia, because Wikipedia has
got them sources.
Wikipedia has the sources hyperlinked to the numbers. They have numbers, those little numbers that's attached to those those claims or whatever. The reason why they're blue is because it's a hyperlink behind that. It's gonna pull up the source that you can find, that you can search up to actually verify that. You know what I'm saying? So, and along with that, when you do that source search, you're gonna find other things that's in parallel to that same source that's talking about similar topics. That way, it makes your comparative research methods easier. Thanks to the World Wide Web, you got information traveling at the speed of light. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we don't really have no excuses, to continue to choose to be ignorant, and constantly use racism. Somebody told me that, they want to erase blacks from North Africa because they want to erase us from history. And I just thought it was funny because, West Africans, Central Africans, or Central Sub-Saharan Africans and Central West Africans, they have their own history. They were developing, technologies independently, of North Africa.
Exactly. Now, and like you had certain, what you would call Niger Congo speaking descendants that were like what you would say like they were minorities, amongst Amazigh people that lived amongst them, in North Africa, but they wasn't the majority. You had certain areas like a lot of them were like the ancestors of today Haratines. Some Haratines were later on, because it's kind of a catchphrase in itself. Some of them were some of the people that were there for a long time as a minority. Coming from some of these Niger Congo people, sporadically. Especially some been isolated from the Green Sahara phase. But some of them also later on, got added on to the caste system of the Haratines from the transatlantic slave, trans-Saharan slave trade as well. But a lot of them are originally rooted from some of them Niger Congo people that was like this in the area. Living amongst the Amazighs, whatsoever. Because you can even find in the DNA amongst certain Amazigh populations, they have certain particular markers that you would, that you would typically see in West Africa, like L2, Some of them got E1B1A, and even they found in Morocco from a Neolithic period. They found, some of them were some of those finds at the what they call the Talaref, uh, uh, you know, I guess remains, human remains, whatever. When they did the DNA, they said it was it was mixed. Of course, it had original North African, what I'm saying, Amazigh, Ibero-Mauritian DNA, but it also had like some DNA that would be typical for West and Central Africa too, mixed in.
That's cool you brought that up, because I'm not sure if you're familiar with this text, but they have a book. You can get it you can get it through PDF. Well, it's called I think it's called Black Morocco, Race, Slavery, and Islam. I'm not sure if you heard of it, but it's written by a Berber, Chuki El Hamid. Yeah, and he made a reference to that, but the way he drew it was that the Imazighan that came, so basically they said it was a group of Ethiopians that was indigenous to the Dry Valley, which is a little further. It's like in southern Morocco. I guess it's like in
Mauritania.
It's like in the Western Sahara, the modern day country of Western Sahara, even though that's not a country, and parts of Mauritania. I'm guessing, I'm not sure where exactly the Dry Valley is, but I'm guessing it's somewhere in between there. And they were saying that it was a group. He said that it was a group of Ethiopians there before the coastal Berbers, or the North Africans, all the way from the coast, from the Mediterranean areas. They started to come further south during Roman occupation.
Yeah.
And the thing, what I'm not sure, I might be wrong, but he said that they might not have been the same, like they might not have been the same cluster of people as the sub-Saharans further south. He said that they might have been like, I don't know, maybe they was, maybe they were like a green Sahara Ethiopic type. Like they might have had some Nilotic ancestry, and maybe, I'm not sure, maybe like some I don't know if it might have been some ancient Ibero-Mauritian, but I know those guys, that's what he said, that's what Chuki El Hamel said, but I'm not sure. I know for sure that we had some early proto civilizations in the Western Sahara that was built by, or it was starting to be built by the people that preceded modern West Africans. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been a mixed population, a different population. But
it could have been a mixed population. Just later Amazighs came in. You know what I'm saying? Because even during the Ibero-Mauritian period, the Ibero-Mauritian didn't speak Amazigh language. They like, the Amazigh languages, that's Afro-Asiatic. Yeah, they came in with them E3B markers. Even before the Afro-Asiatic language came in, we don't know what the Ibero-Mauritian really spoke. You know what I'm saying? So
we don't know their religion. We don't know what language they spoke. All we know is were they, I think they paternal markers, they had different paternal markers too, huh? Or were they from the E clade, the E family?
They probably originally had different. The original really had different markers. They probably just got taken over by the E. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think I read something. I'm not sure. I don't want to, say it verbatim like I know for sure. But I think some of those guys might have had R, I'm not sure. I might be wrong, but they might have been from haplogroup R. But I know
RV88, but they came in a little later. They came.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? yeah, like some of them probably had like U6. They definitely had U6 moms.
Oh yeah, maternal. Yeah, they had U6 moms, and they had a little bit of L2 up there. It was a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit of.
yeah. That's the L2 I was talking about during the
Yep.
Neolithic period. They got isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the early, proto Niger Congos.
And L2, this is what I want. This is why, I made a couple videos about L2 so people can know, like haplogroups, they are really a minor part of genetics. First off, that's what decides what sex you're gonna be. Okay, but they don't change. Like if you have a father with a certain marker, he gonna pass that down to his son. It doesn't matter what race or whatever they look like. If they have that marker, it's gonna pass down from that man to the son. The son gonna pass it down to his kid. The next kid gonna pass. It's gonna keep on going. So, and the same thing goes for mothers. If a woman has U6 or L2, if she have a daughter, she gonna have that. If her daughter have a daughter, she gonna have that same maternal mtDNA haplogroup. Okay. So what I want people to understand is that, okay, even though some of the Afrocentrics, the extreme Afrocentrics, they are kind of correct when they mention migration. I'm sorry. When they mention migration, yeah, people did move in and out of different locations. But another thing that you have to take into account is the topological construction of the African continent. Okay, and that not only kind of what would you say, debunks some of y'all claims, but it also kind of explains why some of the West African and sub-Saharan African polities and kingdoms were kind of isolated from the rest of the world. Not because nobody wanted to deal with them, not because they were, seen as retarded or whatever y'all be thinking in y'all head. It's because of the topological construction of the African continent. You have different levels. You have lands that are rugged. You have lands that are at very much higher elevations than some lands. You got waterfalls, you got mountains, you got rivers that's wide at one end and then it narrows down at another end.
Yeah.
So when a lot of these,
you got
go
some
ahead.
that dry, you got rivers and oases and stuff that dried out. Some that shrunk, like Chad shrunk. Like Mega Chad was huge. You know what I'm saying? It shrunk what it is today. And you even had what they call the Yellow Nile. You know what I'm saying? Which was part of the Nile, extra part of the Nile basin, headed towards the west. You know what I'm saying? That's dried out. That dried out during like a Neolithic period. That stretches from like Chad. You know what I'm saying? On to like some of the part of the western part of the Nile. Well, probably most of our Niger Congo, ancestors probably lived around, what they call the proto language, Niger Kadofli, which is the ancestor of Niger Congo language, Kadofli language. That's still in Sudan.
Facts. Matter of fact, that word is derived from words from the I forgot the name of that people, but I guess it's like the Kordofan people, and like kind of like Western Sudan. Like I'm not saying Western Sudan like West Africa, but I mean like Western Sudan as the modern country, like kind of like going towards Central Africa, like the Darfur region, places like that.
Yeah. And what's funny is, what I'm saying, back in the Neolithic period, that's like, even though we from like the Western Sudan and West Africa, that's the corridor to the Western Sudan. You know what I'm saying? What they call the Sudanic belt. You know what I'm saying? We come out of those, savannah region, those areas were like Saheli Savannah region. You know what I'm saying? The Niger Congo population. You know, but no, but I ain't gonna say that the Niger Congo, like when we think of Niger Congo, they actually kind of started like Central Sahara region, but the ancestor to Niger Congo, which is Niger Gaddafi, you know what I'm saying? It branched off to two major branches, Proto Niger Congo and Gaddafi, you know what I'm saying? It's his own family.
Now, I read some stuff from let me see, what's his name? I know Soy Keita, and it's a white guy. His name is
Eric.
Yeah, Everett.
I got Eric, but that's one of my favorite stories. That's one of the books I subscribe to, like even on my channel. That's one of the major books I follow my research. Is African Civilizations by Christopher Eric. A history from a history all the way to 1800. It's 1800 AD. So that book, that if you get that book, get the second edition. That book is so that's a very good start getting your foot into African history.
You said African. You said what was it called again?
Civilizations of Africa by Christopher Eric.
Civilizations of Africa. Let me retype that real quick. Civilizations of Africa by Christopher Eric. All right. Yeah, y'all need to check that out. See, here at this channel, we give links, like not links, but we give sources, that you can do the homework on. Y'all know me. I'm known for sharing PDF files. I'll go in the comments if you asking for sources. I'll go in the comments and give you the whole file so you can go read it for yourself, because I want the people that subscribe to actually understand and build their knowledge. I'm not just gonna be going off of these emotional rants like a lot of these YouTubers do, and they just forget about the sources. I don't really care about all that. I just want you to know the information. So what I was saying was, I read a couple things, and it was just brushing across the topic because they mentioned it when they were actually talking about, the biodiversity of Egypt and the Nile Valley and all that. But they made some references to, Proto-Niger Congo people, and they were talking about the divergences. Now, I'm not sure where your understanding is, but I seen Christopher Eric and Soy Keita, and Soy Keita, he might have been quoting Christopher Eric, but he was saying that now recently, or maybe not recently, but a while back, but I'm not sure if they released any more updates on it, but he was saying that it may be like a theoretical language that they might have spoken, which was Niger. It was Niger Saharan, like a Niger Saharan language.
Oh yeah, that's Roger. That's Roger Blanche thesis. He changed. He changed.
Okay, what did he change it to?
He just broke it up. He tried to have a big connection with Nilo-Saharan and Niger Gaddafi, but they always been like two separate families. But even though Nilo-Saharan is much more basal, than the African language family in itself. Even in the beginning, like even before Nilo-Saharan, you might have had like, when you say Proto-Nilo-Saharan, that's even hypothetical. When you say proto, or even pre-proto, them languages itself, like the early Niger Gaddafi languages in its own, probably could have branched off from some type of early ancestral people that was related to dealing with them E markers too. The early E marker could have been more Nilo-Saharan like. You know what I'm saying? And they branched off into their own thing. Even the early Proto-Amadic, Afro-Asiatic, speakers, they were somewhat, Nilo-Saharan like, or Hadza like, Them some of the older, like Nilo-Saharans You know what I'm saying? They like a lot of people don't know. A lot of like they practice pastoralism and agriculture today, but you know, in the Paleolithic time, they were some of the last hunter gatherers that kind of adopted them other agricultural traits. You know, being living along.
Nilo-Saharans?
Yeah. Living along like some of the stuff they picked up from living alongside, Afro-Asiatic speakers. Some stuff, they, what I'm saying, they did independently. It's just like a competition. Even though they started off as together, they might have had an approach to some of the things their neighbors did in their own way or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
Yeah, and then too, even though like the Niger Godolphin branch became his own thing, they still were contemporaries with Nilo-Saharians, you know what I'm saying, throughout the centuries or whatever. So they always had, some type of neighborish too in certain regions, you know what I'm saying, adopting each other's culture.
So I got a question for you. So I spoke, I know Kush royalty, his name Bior. Because I know you.
Yeah. I'm in his Discord. I'm one of the mentors in his Discord.
Definitely. Yeah, he know his shit. He definitely know. If he don't know about West Africa, he know about the Nilo.
Yeah, Nilo, yeah.
The Nilo.
I've been assisting like him in his research too. He did an interview with me not too long ago.
Yeah, and I'm if you can share that link, and I'm gonna put it in the comments so they can check it out, so they can see you. They can see you working with other people and see your expanded knowledge on Africa. Your enthusiasm on African anthropology and paleontology. So, with that being said, so I spoke with him before about paternal haplogroups or paternal lineages with Nilotes or whatever, and he told me, and I might get some words wrong, but I'm basically right now I'm under the understanding that even though basically he made it seem like, and I think it might be true, I'm not sure, but Nilotes, modern day Nilotes that have haplogroup E, they might have got it from the Bantu expansion. How you feel about that?
You talking about in Sudan?
Like Nilo, I'm not sure. Maybe ones that live closer to Kenya. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Through them regions, yeah. But that ain't the only way they got E though. They got E1B1A. You know what I'm saying? Locked through those regions. You know what I'm saying? And in Sudan, they might not have the particular same branch as the Bantus do, but some of the Godolphin people, you know what I'm saying, some of them got haplogroup E1B1A. Some of the Nilo-Saharans in Sudan inherited it from them as well. And then too, Nilo-Saharans, some Nilo-Saharans got E3B, you know what I'm saying, from living alongside Cushitic or Proto-Cushitic people for a long time.
Oh yeah. We know that for sure. You could see that in ancient Nubia, modern northern Sudan, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they get some more of it. You know what I'm saying? When they do, you know what I'm saying, migrate to Kenya, in them areas, in southern Ethiopia, in those regions. Because even before the Nilo-Saharans migrated into Kenya, Tanzania, you had the South Cushitic people that migrated there first. You know what I'm saying? Who taught the Khoi, the Khoi people out, pastoralism. You know what I'm saying? They taught some sign people pastoralism, and these particular sign became the Khoi, the ones who practice pastoralism. The sign of the ones who practice full hunter gatherer lifestyle.
Definitely. So what? Let's talk about the Nilotes, like the ones in South Sudan. Maybe not the Nubian types, but the pure Nilote. Those people like South Sudan area like that. What are their? Because this is kind of what I was trying to ask Bior. What are their oldest paternal, like what paternal lineages did they have and what do they have? Like, what is their
They
main paternal haplogroup that they know
got
for?
A's and B's.
Yeah.
They main one is A's and B's.
Yep. See, that's what I was looking for right there.
That's what I was saying, that they old. Like these Nile Saharans are bottleneck people. Like these people, like they like kind of like a people that went through a bottleneck and like still like live long in contemporary time. You know what I'm saying? Added on pastoralism to their culture, added on you know what I'm saying, particular agriculturalism. Even you know what I'm saying, when they were hunter gatherers, they collected sorghum. And then later on they started, you know what I'm saying, when they got into the competition of the Neolithic revolution, they started cultivating. You know what I'm saying? With Christopher Eric, you know what I'm saying, doing like a lot of these groups, a lot of these hunter-gatherer groups, like the proto-Afro-Asiatic groups, you know what I'm saying, or like proto-Amadic groups, even like the proto-Niger Gaddafian groups before they came, Niger Khan, even not Niger Khan for a phase. It was a phase what Christopher Eric called pre-agricultural beginnings. You still had these hunter-gatherer groups that still like they gathered food and gathered food, certain grasses and grains and stuff, hunted, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of these food sources became their favorite food source, and they started protecting these food sources. Later became cultivated, and then like certain circumstances, you know what I'm saying, the climate, things like that kind of sped some things up in certain areas. That's why you have it so happening so independently in different regions. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can have corn cultivation independently in Americas, and independently rice cultivation in Asia, and then got different independent cultivation revolutions that happen all throughout Africa, even in Levant. The Levant, the agriculturalism, you know what I'm saying, or full-blown consistent agriculturalism that started in Levant come from a long line of pre-agricultural beginnings that started in Africa from Afro-Asiatic people with their type of grain collecting in the first place. You know what I'm saying? With the Natufians, the Tufian ancestors coming out of North Africa, but they ancestors coming out, their ancestors in themselves, their great ancestors come out the Red Sea Hills, you know what I'm saying, with these Afro-Asiatic speakers.
Yep. And that's kind of what I was trying to hear right there, like because a lot of Afrocentrics, they believe that just because they have a similar skin shade or whatever, like West Africans might be the same color as Nilotics or whatever, even though they supposedly the blackest people in the world. And Nigerians, and other West Africans, they do have some dark people, but they are not noted to be the darkest people in the world. It's mainly the Nilotes.
Yeah, Nilotes, and some super dark people in Equatorial Asia. I think it's really it's really all about the UV rays for real.
Mm-hmm. That's
because you got people just as dark as Nilotes. You know what I'm saying? In Southeast Asia.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, with like Melanesian, some areas like that, like especially with the Buka tribe. Even when you look at the Andaman Islands, you know what I'm saying, when they're very dark. And what's crazy is too, the ancestors of the Andaman Islanders, you know what I'm saying, they related to other, of course, other Asians, but their particular marker is D, and D branched off from E, and D, it was DE, you know what I'm saying, D and E. Mm-hmm. Have common ancestors, and that D marker actually migrated out of Africa at a later time.
Yep.
So whatever the ancestor was of the Andaman Islands probably was some type of Nilotic like or Hadza like, you know what I'm saying, descendant, you know what I'm saying, or ancestor, whatever, that migrated out a little bit later, you know what I'm saying, after like the CF.
So what you can see is, he just brought up not only a group of people or humans that have a very dark pigmentation in Africa, but he brought up another group that's Asian in genetics, and he told you that genetically they are more related to people that don't look like them. Okay, so with that being said, you should understand that just because nilotics are similar colors of black and brown with with West Africans, it doesn't necessarily mean they are closely related to you. Okay, now don't get me wrong, it doesn't matter how an African looks. Africans have some type of ancestral connection, way deep down the line. But
deep down the line,
but just because they look a certain way, it doesn't mean that they are the same group as you. You see what I'm saying? Y'all gotta get that through y'all skulls. Everybody,
even on the continent, it goes so even on the continent. You know what I'm saying? Just because they have a darker skin, genetically distinct.
Exactly, bro. Like you got people that I did a video on this. You got people that have sub-Saharan like features in Asia, just like the people you just brought up. I just forgot their name, but the people you just brought up, those people. Then you got Negrito people that they call Negrito, or they might have some other ethnic names too. And you got people like those people in the equatorial parts of Asia.
Yeah,
they have sub-Saharan features. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's why I say I call it equatorial selection. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like those so-called sub-Saharan features, it's just equatorial features.
It's equatorial features. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I made a post about that. I was letting people know that, prognatism, really these features that people say is black and white, it's really not black and white. These are environmental adaptation features. These are features that people gain from environmental adaptation, okay, and climate, things of that nature. People get dark, or people have dark skin, because it's a reaction to places that have a lot of heat, a lot of UV rays, and dark skin is protection from UV rays, which is radiation. Got to get that through your skull. That's why you have people that, not even just the Negrito types and those dark skinned Africans. I mean, I said Africans, Asians, though, not just the Jarawa people, those people with paternal haplogroup D that live in Asia and they secluded from everybody when they look like sub-Saharan Africans. But you have Indians, like these people are Indo-European speakers. They are Indo-European speakers admixed with Denisovans, admixed with Veroids, admixed with West Asians. They are admixed people, but they are dark. Some of those people are darker than African Americans.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
And two, it ain't even all about, like, a lot of times too, it ain't even about like the particular weather either. Like, it's just all about the UV rays. Like, you have like the reflecting field off the environment, and affect the way that people skin tone, comes out in color or pigment. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Inuits or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The UVAs bounce off some of them glaciers. Like some of the people, can be tan from that. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to update my information on that. That's new information for me. But it's definitely, an adaptation to your environment and the UV frequency that people experience over time, and that's what causes the different skin shades. You know what I'm saying? That's what definitely causes the different skin shades.
Yeah. Like, and I would say too, even like the Ethiopian highlands, valley, even though, like, especially like the Horn, some parts of the Horn of Africa, or the highland area, those regions, even though it's like
Uh,
it's technically sub-Saharan or whatever, it's different because it's on the tropical mountain to where you have cooler weather in those highlands.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? And
mm.
it's at a high altitude, so people might
Yep.
have people skull type different. You know what I'm saying? Have more alkaline features, and that weather too in that region is similar to Asia, like
Yep.
Western Asia. That's why certain parts of Ethiopian highlands, Ethiopian Horn, is some of the only areas in equatorial or sub-Saharan Africa where you can grow wheat and barley. You know what I'm saying? Because wheat and barley can grow in cooler climates.
There you go, right there. There you go, man. People at higher altitudes, they have adaptations that people at lower altitudes, and people in lower altitudes, they have their own environmental adaptations. Okay, it's so many variables, besides just this black and white stuff or this Arab stuff. Oh, they mix with Arabs. It's so many more variables, behind the scenes that y'all don't really understand. I'm
Hey,
I'm learning.
It
Go
was
ahead.
crazy. It was crazy. They get so amped about the Arab, but the Arabs speak an African language.
Yeah, they do.
They speak Semitic. Semitic is an
Yep.
African language.
It's the only African language spoken in
Hey,
Asia.
and then too, a lot of them Arabs have ancestry straight out of East Africa,
Facts.
recent and ancient. You know what I'm saying?
Recent and ancient. That's a fact. Because I mean, I'm not trying to act like, I'm not trying to amalgamate things like people that I know with everybody. But I know for a fact Horners, they travel back and forth to Asia or the peninsula.
They brought.
I had a friend, I had a guy that I go
My
ahead.
bad. Go ahead. Finish. My bad.
Well,
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
just say this real quick. I had a friend that I was teaching biblical Hebrew to. He was I think he was Amharic. I don't know the ethnic groups. I'm kind of rusty right now, but he was one of those North Ethiopic ethnic groups, and
Ethio-Semitic speakers.
yep, Ethio-Semitic people, yep, and his people, they lived in Yemen or Oman, one of those countries, before they moved to Canada. And he have cousins, he got relatives in the Arabian Peninsula. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta understand that a place is not a race. Okay, a location is not a race. People transcend location. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I'm saying, and two, Southern Arabia used to be tropical. You know what I'm saying? Even
Yep.
up until the Roman period, the Romans called Southern Arabia Arabian Felix. You know what I'm saying? Because it's tropical, tropical area. That's why you find, like, when you look at the Sabian, some of the remains, you see leopards, artifacts and all that type of stuff.
Exactly. I mean, just think about it. If the Sahara was wet at one time, then the Arabian Peninsula probably was wet at one time. There's no way in hell.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah, there's no way in hell that it was always a desert. I mean, all the activity that our planet is doing, over the span of time, is no way in hell that these locations gonna have the same climate all throughout time. I mean, you got people whining and crying, boohoo whining and crying about climate change right now. Why do you think that? That's because the earth changes things sometimes. Maybe the tilt of the earth might change, or maybe something else might change. But you might not see it in your lifetime, because the span of time that it takes is like, I'm not trying to get religious, but it's like God time. Like, we talking thousands of years, tens of thousands of years where you see these changes. So sometimes that's why a lot of y'all don't really understand some stuff, because we dealing with evolution, which take thousands of years. We dealing with climatic changes that take, sometimes it take thousands of years, sometimes it's faster. Like they said, the Sahara, I think the end of the last Pleistocene, when it started to get when it started, no, not the, wait a minute, was it the Pleistocene or maybe the last human period during the Holocene epoch or whatever? It was a sudden change. It was a sudden change from the humid to the dry Sahara period. And things just started drying up. Yeah, and when they say sudden, I ain't talk about today and tomorrow. Maybe 1,000 years, maybe a couple hundred years. Things like that.
Because it turned back, like the Sahara dries up and goes green like every 42,000 years.
Yep.
So it happened more than once. We still in the Heliocene period right now.
We still in the Holocene. Yep. We are in the late. I don't even know if it's the late Holocene, but I know we in the Holocene.
Yep. Yep. No. Yep.
This
would be the latest. You know what I'm saying? So
when people talk about the Green Sahara, that's another layer of information that people tend to, they pass up because they don't understand it was multiple human periods that, proto-humans or early, hominids, they had the time, to migrate, and sometimes they didn't.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and then you even had like a group of early modern humans, called the Afri-Culture. You know what I'm saying? That was around. Not they wasn't as old as the Jebel Jahud find. Those people were much more archaic, like, even though they were still modern. But you had a more close to modern that branched out from the east, you know what I'm saying, called the Afri-Culture. You know what I'm saying? That was all throughout North Africa. Even them, when Iberian Mauritians came in, the Iberian Mauritians kind of branched off from like Basal Eurasians. You know what I'm saying? And they intermixed with some of the material cultures. You know what I'm saying?
Man, and you know what? That kind of lead me to a interesting question that I've been wanting to ask you, man. So let's talk about the Let's talk about the migration of paternal haplogroup E, those men. Okay, so we are under the understanding, that they emerged. Where would you say they emerged? Like somewhere like in sub-Saharan Africa, between Kenya and Somalia? Where would you say they emerged from?
I say particularly the E market somewhere. I say somewhere like Sudan. You know what I'm saying?
Sudan?
Yeah, even DE, you know what I'm saying? DE branched off somewhere around Sudan, North Africa somewhere. You got Basal Para Group D that was found in Nigeria.
Yep. That's something that I do not understand right now. That's something I do not. How the hell did? Because they say D went to Asia.
It did. That's what I was talking about earlier. It left out of Africa later. It didn't leave. It didn't leave the same time them CF markers left.
So you saying?
It left at like 50,000 years ago.
So you think maybe some D's was riding with they kinfolk to West Africa?
Yeah, you still had like probably like bottleneck. You know what I'm saying? Inherited marker. Just like saying where you got the A00 marker found in the Cameroonian man. That's the Niger Congo. Because that marker just lingered around with the bottlenecks. They it came through from that ancient time. You know what I'm saying? When it split. But I do I do believe that if you look at the more recent information on D and E split in Africa.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then migrated out. That's why I said that that D marker that them Andaman Islands got left at a later time. That's why I say, even though them Andaman Islanders, even when they migrated over there, them D markers, it came in contact with people that migrated out first. like it went through bottlenecks over there and shit. But I think the closest thing to it when it migrated out is the Andaman Island. Like that's why they kind of look like kind of Nilo-Saharan like or Hadza like. You know what I'm saying? But they stayed within them equatorial regions. Plus, they left out of Africa at a later time. You know what I'm saying? They didn't leave out at 70,000. They left out like at 50,000. That's actually, if you look up, you go to Wikipedia and look up the E marker. You know what I'm saying?
So back to E. So we know, when DE split up, we know about that. But we also know that the E group, they split up. You know what I'm saying? We got some that went into the interior, the African interior, and we got some that stayed and moved up the north coast, right?
Yeah, you're talking about particular branches though. You got
different branches. Particular branches when they diverge from each other. Yeah,
you got E1B1A. Even before that, you got EM33. Dogon. I think the earlier E's were more Nilo, like, Nilo-Saharan look how they look, but I think it was more Nilotic like, or Hadza like. You know what I'm saying? When they was on the gatherer phase. You know what I'm saying? Them early E markers. You know what I'm saying? But they had, but they had probably had its own diversity. You know what I'm saying? When I say Nilotic, like I'm not saying like modern day Nilo-Saharan, but it probably would have been somewhat closer in morphology, you know what I'm saying, to some of the Nilo-Saharan groups, you know what I'm saying?
Probably because they had similar, things they was dealing with in the environment, probably.
Yeah, or Hadza like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because even like some of the later morphology of Nilo-Saharan is more recent, like but like you probably had a whole different range, you know what I'm saying, a different diversity, they early ancestors, or they kin, like, because even like the Nilo-Saharans, they got A's and B's, they got B markers. Who else got B markers? The
pygmies,
or the ancestors of the pygmies, who probably even wasn't short stature. You know what I'm saying? Because that's more of a recent adaptation to live in a more dense forest regions.
Facts.
And the Hadza people, you know what I'm saying? They got B markers. They got similar B markers to the Batwa people. You know what I'm saying? And whoever all these groups' ancestors was probably branched off at some common ancestor in East Africa, who was all probably like early Nilotic, like Hadza, like, you know what I'm saying, type people. Whoever these late Stone Age, you know what I'm saying, group people was. And E markers probably was just a later derived version of whoever them people were.
So how would you say men that had haplogroup E in older clades of it that started to encroach, or they started to maybe have breeding grounds like in the Central Sahara? I'm not sure, because we dealing with a different span of time, because supposedly haplogroup E really started making its presence in West Africa probably about 20,000 years ago. Am I right or wrong?
You talking about E in West Africa?
Yeah, like the specific West African ancestor with E. Like E, like M, ain't it like M
EM33?
EM33, yeah.
I want to say 20,000 years ago. I was probably like at least around 12,000 to you know what I'm saying, 12,000 to 9,500 BC.
Man, so you talking even short, like an even shorter time time period.
Coming from the east. Because this debate, either we don't know if EM33 came, you know what I'm saying, came at a different time rate, because some people say it's more, you know, so it could be more like a Nilo, like an early Nilotic, like, you know what I'm saying, hunter-gatherer people, or if it came like, you know, at the same time as EM1A, you know what I'm saying. It just you know, lingering around, because they always were contemporary with the Nilo-Saharan like people anyway. You know what I'm saying? Called the Onanian culture. It was found in central, South Central Sahara. When it was green or whatever. And they always lived alongside, like, Nilo-Saharan groups or Saharan groups that lived in the Sahara too, that branched off of, Sudanic groups. The early Niger Godolphin groups, they known for their particular, arrow tips that you still could find today in their culture.
So what would you say, like the ones, the men with haplogroup E before they started? Because I'm not too sure about their, I know their ancestral paternal population, but I'm not sure what type of women they were, birthed from. So, how would you, before they start admixing with
it probably
women
was a mixture. Yeah, it probably was a mixture of different, but mostly, L2. Probably, some of them probably had some type of Nilo-Saharan lineage, because these people trading with their neighbors too. People trade, They do a lot of other things too.
So would you say? Oh, that's a fact. Would you say, like, when haplogroup E, would you say it was a point in time where let's just say it was a little small group of dudes, like maybe like 10, 20 dudes, like a little camp, and they was like, hey man, let's go to West Africa, whatever, or let's go west, you know what I'm saying? And would you say it was a time where they might have been the L admixture or the L lineage might have been absent?
No, it's always just been around. People, the women lineages always been around with the males. Never been a time where it wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? Just
basically what I'm saying is like, do you think maybe they could have had mothers that were from older lineages than that?
Yeah. You have older lineage. You have older lineage that still live alongside newer lineage. It just keep getting adapted, and you know what I'm saying. That mutation just keep living on. You might go through a bottleneck, even though so you have a new generation that become a majority. You know what I'm saying. You might have just like my marker. I got L1C. You know what I'm saying. That come from like an early, probably my particular marker, because like a hybrid marker between Bantus and Pygmies, but L1 period probably come from like an early, West African hunter-gatherers or Central African hunter-gatherer population. You know what I'm saying? But like, the marker people, people always live alongside different people. Even doing different migrations, it might even be just dudes just getting up and leave. I know you say hypothetical, but it's always like a slow move. You know what I'm saying? People living, populating, and then certain groups of that area might, move on and come in contact with different groups of people and still bring it, They might even bring some women with them sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because L markers too.
Because I think L3 came in with E, right?
You said L3?
Yeah, I think she might have came in with E, huh? Or am I off with that?
L3 and L2 was around. L3 is just a later, it's the youngest, out of the L mark. You know what I'm saying? Because
my understanding is that L3 kind of emerged kind of further east.
Yeah. You have more diversity in Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying?
Then so
L2 kind of a mystery though. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think it's probably in Sudan somewhere. That's what I think. That's what I'm thinking. I think L2 emerged in Sudan somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
What make you think that?
Because you find certain L2 lineages even in Arabia. They go way back, like, you know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
But it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's a minority. It's rare. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot. It's rare, but it's there though. You know what I'm saying?
What make you like the L2 lineages in Arabia? what make you think like do you don't have did you consider like
No, what I'm saying, Ray, but the Levant, you know what I'm saying?
in the okay. So
Yeah.
what about like have you canceled out any possibilities of like Islamic slave trade and stuff like
No,
that?
no, I'm saying that too, but I'm saying about these particular, you know what I'm saying, niggas
Uh-huh.
old, you know,
Okay.
like the Tufians, you know, shit.
Uh-huh. You covering stuff I haven't even covered yet. So it's new information for me. I have to check it out. You got any like what sources you using to further your knowledge on some of these XY lineages?
Oh, like shit, Wikipedia, you know what I'm saying? Just following the different markers and, you know what I'm saying, what lineage have.
Wikipedia, y'all. There you go. Like you just gotta sit down and read, and Wikipedia is a good source because they, like we said, they have the links, they have hyperlinks to real sources that you can purchase or you can download, probably for free or maybe for a small fee. You know, a lot of y'all need to learn about how X and Y chromosomes work. You need to learn about the naming conventions of these haplogroups because I see a lot of nonsense on social media for sure. I see a lot of nonsense. You know, like one thing that you can pull from this conversation that we're having is obviously haplogroups transcend human variation. They transcend human variation. Like like haplogroup A and B. Nilo-Saharans have that haplogroup, but also, proto, like I'm not sure exactly. It might have been proto-Sanid type people or proto-Pygmy types. They are known to have haplogroup A and B. But those are two different type of people. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you got people that look like Europeans or West Asians that have paternal lineages that most people know is mainly in Africa. You even got people in Europe that got North African paternal lineages that branched off from super ancient paleo African paternal lineages like E. And those people, if you look at them today, they might be white as snow. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm looking on the Wikipedia page now. L2 right here. It say haplogroup L2A1 has been found in ancient fossils associated with pre-pottery Neolithic culture of Tel Halua in Syria. Specimen excavated at the Savannah Pastoral Neolithic site in Tanzania carried L2A1 clad. Admixture cluster analysis further indicated that the individual bore significant ancestry from ancient Levant, confirming ancestral ties between makers of Savannah Pastoral Neolithic and pre-pottery Neolithic. See, some of these L2 mark lineage are so old, you know what I'm saying? It even, they came, you know what I'm saying? Cause I guess on how it split up or whatever, some of it even came back in, you know what I'm saying, doing back migration. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Hey Pat, could you share that link to the back chat?
Yeah, hold on. I'm looking at my phone. I'm on the computer. I'm on the computer on my
Okay.
on the stream. Hold on. I can send it. I can send it to you. I can send it to your messenger real quick.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Just to let y'all know, we got Jahiz Podcast in on the show. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to his channel. This is another channel that's about African accuracy, not just spreading the feel good stuff that's not really true. He's about science, and accuracy. This is this is what we are enthused about when it comes to Africa, knowing the population diversity, knowing the population evolution, knowing the developments of different technological complexes, so we can understand, that Africans were doing their thing, regardless of what their skin color was or whatever y'all like to stick around with and be mad about. Africans are Africans. It's not a race. Africa is a place. Okay, Africa is a place. It's a geographical location. You know what I'm saying? And the way people use genetics, to determine if, like, when people use genetics, a lot of times it's based off of a source population. They can tell something is something because most of the other people with that similar thing, they in a certain location, or with a similar marker that's like that marker, they come from a particular location. Okay, and that's kind of like looking at North America. Now in paleontology, historically, at one point North America was the least diverse continent. So the top diverse continents are Africa and Asia. Okay, Europe fall under that, and then you got, and Europe fall under that because of its vicinity to Africa and Asia. You know what I'm saying? And also maybe some environmental differences. But under that, America, or the ancient Americas, they are known to have the least diverse, or one of the least diverse places in the world. Okay, so y'all gotta remember that when y'all be trying to argue with me in the comments. Okay, but yeah, give me a second. He just sent me the link. We gonna check that out real quick, so y'all can see too. Give me a second. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Jahiz Podcast. That's another good channel to be watching. As you can see, he does the research and follows the text. Let me see here. I'm gonna share a screen real quick so we can follow what you're talking about. Let me see. L2. All right. Let me make that the whole screen. All right. So what we looking at?
Go to L2A.
L2A.
Then you go down to L2A.
Okay, L2A right here.
Then you go to L2A1.
Uh-huh.
Then you go down.
Yep. This is like a tree. It's like a tree, man. And the reason why they can tell these different subclades from one another is because they all have different mutations, SNPs and STRs and stuff like that. That's how they name these haplogroups, even though they might be related in the ancestral column, the L2 part, but then they have different mutations that make them individual.
You got some stuff that overlap, like it might exist with other markers and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? That some just survived that long, whatever. They're linking around. It's like you got certain, like as you see right here, you got certain L2 markers as in Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. And a lot of this stuff happened at different times. Like it might have happened more than once. You know what I'm saying? Like history is not so linear like they like to make it seem. Like people now, like me, I go back and forth between different states all the time. I live in the South, but I'm always on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like people was doing that back then too. They might have had different. Now they might not been able to fly, but wherever they could go on foot or on whatever, that's what they did. But the thing about it is, in Africa, you have to realize that people took different, like the route wasn't so easy. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't so easy, and it might have changed. Certain features might have changed over time. Like maybe when it was green, it might have been easier for people to be in different parts of Africa, in North Africa, West Africa, East Africa. But when the Sahara dry, the Sahara is like a great barrier. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you not finna I talked to this one dude, he was talking about how, people, the Sahara not so bad to where people not, bro. Most people that live in the Sahara right now is criminals. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm pretty sure that's how it was back then. Like nomadic kidnappers type shit like that. That's why when Mansa Musa went to the east, he had an army of slaves with him. Because it was a high probability he gonna get robbed or kidnapped, because you got nomadic Amazighan that live like warriors. Like they tougher than people that live in urban environments, because they out there in the elements. So people, even now, like a couple years ago, West Africans or Africans from somewhere, in the equatorial regions of West Africa, they were trying to travel to Libya so they can get to Europe. What were happening to those guys? It was people from Kenya too. They were traveling to the Central Sahara so they can go to Europe. What were happening to those people? They were getting kidnapped and sold. That's what
people from Kenya.
Yeah, it was people. It was people from Kenya and West Sub-Saharan Africa going to trying to go through Libya so they can get to the Mediterranean and get to Europe.
What time period?
This was like this was like a couple years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago, and it just, the reason why I brought it up is to help people understand like the type of shit that go down in the desert. People kidnap you in the desert. It's criminals. Like them Tuaregs. I'm not trying to draw no bad marker on them or nothing like that. I'm not saying that, but it's people that live in the Sahara, in the desert, and they live a rough lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's been like for a minute, since the Sahara been dry. It's people, don't get me wrong, it's regular people that you might catch walking across the Sahara, but it's people, it's always been raiders in the Sahara. And what they do is they go down to the edge of civilization where it's people living that live settled lifestyles, and they used to raid, because those people be chilling, the city people, they not used to that lifestyle. It's not that sub-Saharans are inferior. It's just that they live two different lifestyles. Even in West Asia, you had the Akkadian people. Before the Akkadians took over Sumer, they used to raid the Sumerians because they were nomads. And once they used to raid, and they used to go into the population and live. So once they started getting their foot in the door and they started to get amongst the elite, that's when the Sumerians started to kind of fade away. Then now you got the Akkad, you got the kingdom of Akkad. You know, that shit just don't happen how y'all be trying to make it seem like people just be
Yeah.
victims and all that. Like
the Mongolians, like you know what I'm saying, like all deserts ain't sand either. You got
exactly.
deserts in China that snow. You know what I'm saying? Like the Mongolians,
Exactly. Yep.
Mongolians go in on it. You know what I'm saying? On different people. You know what I'm saying? That they were marauders, like other species. Then too, like even in Africa, all of Sahara ain't sand. You got sand dunes. I mean, most of it is rocks, like rocky areas, shrublands. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. That's a fact. So, who he said, hold on. Let me
That's
we
why.
got
That's why the Amazigh had a lot of access to salt too. We had a lot of salt from like leftover oases and lakes.
we got we got a question. Who do y'all think the original North Africans were? I'm gonna let Gullah Betty answer that.
It depends on. You really can't really say who the original North Africa is because it come in different layers, with time periods. Like I said, you had the Tyrian culture who were there for a long time. You know what I'm saying? These were equatorial selected humans. These were very early humans. You know what I'm saying? You got a Tyrian culture. And then later on, starting around like 30,000 years ago, you started getting like the early ancestor of the Iberian, you know what I'm saying? Base Eurasians coming back, migrating back in, you know what I'm saying? Mixing with these Interior cultures. Then later on, after that, you know what I'm saying? You start getting, Afro-Asiatic speaking, culture coming in from the Red Sea Hills. Even some of them, back migrating back in from the Levant, from the Kufian period and all that. You know what I'm saying? Well, different layers of, how you get to, North Africa. But the modern North Africans have all that in them today.
Yep, they have all, bruh. I could bring up, and I'm not trying to say that I seen they paleo, a super old proto ancestry and all that, but you can, like, I follow a lot of North Africans in this genetics group, bruh. You can see North African, bro. First off, North Africans be more African than African Americans. First off, y'all don't like that fact, but it could be a North African that look like French Montana, and he will be more African than you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Even you look at French Montana, if he was a little darker, he look like a Somali.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I got a homeboy named Salah. You know what I'm saying? He's from Nigeria. Nigeria. By the way, Nigeria is the biggest country in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Most of it is Sahara, though.
You talk about Algeria?
Yeah, Algeria is the biggest country.
Okay.
I got a couple of Algerian homeboys. But Salah, you know what I'm saying? He looked like French Montana a little bit. You can tell he got a little bit of, it's a mixture. It's kind of like Latin America. You know, if you look at Latin America, you know what I'm saying? You obviously know they mix with some Niger Congo and some other shit, some Eurasian shit too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times. You range and stuff. You know what I'm saying? When you get into the mixed population. But you can tell, like, you know what I'm saying? He got straight hair, but it shit a little dry. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, bro.
It ain't like, you know what I'm saying, your typical like European straight, you know what I'm saying, way earlier.
But all they see is, he don't have the features that they used to seeing as whatever Africa is. Well, one thing I gotta tell you is that's the way that the West projects Africa to us. They make sub-Saharans, from different parts of sub-Saharan Africa, the face of Africa. But that don't necessarily mean that they are the only Africans. Like I said, you got people that look like French Montana that's more African than you. You might have more European admixture than they do. A lot of these people don't have no genetics outside of Africa. And some of them even have sub-Saharan African ancestry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was the only reason they can think of it as Bantu people or Niger Congo people being the face of Africa is Bantu expansion. Plus, you know what I'm saying, Because due to the Bantu expansion, you know what I'm saying, Niger Congo people are the most majority people or speakers on the continent.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But you also got to take into account of I don't even know how to say it, like the area,
yeah.
the area, like the surface area of like urbanized North African settlements compared to sub-Saharan Africa. Sub-Saharan African countries cover more ground than North African countries, and most of those people are on the coast. They live on the coast. They don't live all in the Sahara. Now, if the Sahara was green,
no river accesses or nothing like that's like
exactly
like the Bantu expansion, even though it happened over a long time period, it happened at a kind of a fast rate for the expansion because of they utilized the river.
The reason why Berbers look different, which that's really not all the way true, because some Berbers are dark, some Berbers are brown, some Berbers they come in different shades. It's mainly the coastal.
Some of them you can still see some of they, you know what I'm saying, East Hornic, yep. You know what I'm saying, or early Afro-Asiatic features in them too. It's like a lighter version, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. They just lighter skinned. It's just the same way as an African American. Some African Americans might be lighter skinned than other African Americans. It's the same thing. It's just different people. What I can tell you is,
I seen some Ethiopian man mixed with Italian, and the kids come out looking North African or Arab.
Facts. I met somebody on the east, you know, that's on the East Coast. That's part Italian, part Arab, and part African American. You know what I'm saying? And they look like a straight North African. Curly hair, you know, light skin like snow, but black hair, you know, and black eyes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's that's just genetics, bro. But the reason why I would say Berbers look like, some Berbers look European, some Berbers look lighter, they look like lighter Africans, you know, is because Ethiopians and Somalians, they stayed over there, but their source population is the Horn, you know, the Horn in Eastern North Africa or Northeast Africa. That's their source population. That's where they diverge from other men carrying E. And those men,
I wouldn't say deep. I wouldn't say deep into the Horn. It'd be like more like what Christopher Ayres say. He say the southern Red Sea Hill. So it'll probably be somewhere like right before you can get to the Horn, like the red, like kind of like the Eritrea area. You know what I'm saying? In some parts of like the coastal Sudan. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause even some groups, like some of them Cushitic groups, they like migrated deeper into the Horn. You know what I'm saying? Like later on through like the agricultural Neolithic periods. You know what I'm saying? But like they actual source area come from like alongside the stretches of, you know what I'm saying, the southern Red Sea Hills. You know what I'm saying? Like the foothills. You know what I'm saying? Right before you get into the highlands. You know, it would be the highlands too. You know what I'm saying? Right to those you know what I'm saying, those Rift Valley areas.
And another thing is, you know, another reason is because they receive autosomal data or autosomal information from different women. You know, when they went north, went north, they married women that was traveling between Europe, Asia, and Africa. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason why men that carry haplogroup E in sub-Saharan Africa, that's why they look different. It's not that they look different from other Africans, it's that they all look different from each other because they all went and they spread out from each other and they married different type of women. You know, that might not be the only reason, but that's some of the most simplest reasons that I could bring up, you know, to help you understand. You know, they got different information. They all different people. You know, don't get me wrong, they Africans, but the only thing that make them really African is because to me, what I would say is history is it emerged in Africa, their culture emerged in Africa, and their genetic markers are in Africa. That's what makes you African. Being a skin color doesn't make you African. It doesn't make you Asian. It doesn't make you anything. You know what I'm saying? What matters is the genetics, the history, and the culture, and the language. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that's not the complete reason, but that's what I can tell you from, to help certain people understand. People don't stay in the same population. People travel and they go and they meet different people. It might be a person, a woman with U6. She might be darker than another woman with U6 because we don't know why, but that's just how it is. And if a woman that was darker with U6, she gonna pass that direct information to her kids. You know what I'm saying? And somebody from North Africa, from the North African coast, she might be lighter skinned and she might look Mexican or something, or Italian, but she's still African. But her direct descendants, her kid, they gonna look just like them. They gonna look like her daddy, like their daddy and their mama. Go ahead.
It's women that look like they got L2 markers.
Yeah, exactly.
Even like I said, like you got a particular L2 branch that's an Ashkenazi associated branch, particularly. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They probably come from some type of stream from that particular branch that came in through the Levant. You know what I'm saying? That went into Central Europe and shit. You know what I'm saying? But exactly. you got particular lineages all throughout Southern Europe anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like back
different lineages, bro.
Period.
And think about why. Because these places are in vicinity to each other, where people could travel easier, than, like, let's say the New World, which is the Western Hemisphere, where people was already at, but they were isolated from the Old World. So we gotta take all that into account. And honestly, to me, I'm gonna just let you know, like, if you following this channel, you might as well just forget that black white shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really ride with that. I don't ride with that black white shit. I understand that's a social construct that we live in America. But when you dealing with population genetics and population diversity and population morphology and shit like that, you're not gonna be restricted to that black and white shit. You dealing with haplogroups, you're not gonna be restricted to that black and white shit, because haplogroups transcend these so-called races.
Exactly. Even like when we look at history too, like like of course the post Renaissance, Europeans or I call post Middle Age Europeans, you know what I'm saying, colonized, Africa and the New World, whatever, you know what I'm saying, a lot of areas of the world. In the history of Africa, the Bantu expansion, the Bantus were somewhat like colonists, would be colonists towards the Batwa people.
Exactly, bro. And Sand people.
Yeah.
The Bantus was the first colonists of sub-Saharan Africa. Well, I ain't gonna say the first, but they were the first before the Europeans. They were the latest before the Europeans.
They're the first. I say they're the first agriculturists.
Yep. And iron smelters.
Yeah, iron smelters. No. The Bantus didn't bring in iron at first originally.
No, I'm saying they brought it to sub-Saharan East Africa.
Yeah, but the Bantus they didn't get iron themselves until they came into them lakes. Like the Bantus inherited iron smelting from Central Sudanian people, Bangian people. You know what I'm saying? And but during the original expansion, Bantus didn't have iron. They got iron like when the Mushariki Bantus, you know what I'm saying, went into lakes. Like the Bantus originally had
talk about the Great Lakes.
Yeah, the Great Lakes. You know what I'm saying? The Bantus in the original expansion, they had better technology than the Patois, but their technology and tool work was polished stone axes. You know what I'm saying? Before the iron. You know what I'm saying? But later on, certain Bantus that stayed within Cameroon, certain them areas, they inherited, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, iron eventually, you know what I'm saying, coming from them Adamawa area. Because you know, the oldest iron smelter come from out Adamawa Plateau, dealing with the Adamawa speakers and the Ubangian speakers and the Gurra people. All them people related, which Christopher Eric called the Savannah language. And they the ones who actually spread the iron smelter, and they even spread it into the Central Sudanian people, who was like a southern Nilo-Saharan type people. And then them people, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, the Bantus adopted it from them when they got to them lakes. And they expanded it. They expanded it themselves, you know what I'm saying? You got certain Bantus from the east that went back to the west, expanding, you know what I'm saying, to other Bantus.
Exactly, bro. They did. They did. Yep. And they brought Sanded DNA with them too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Yep, they brought Khoi like DNA or Sanded like DNA with them because of admixture. You know, when certain Bantus, because all Bantus didn't go to East Africa, you know.
Yeah.
Some of them went to Southern West Africa.
And then too, you had a Sand type people already that was indigenous to like areas in Angola.
Yep. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Then some of them got brought back too.
Exactly.
Brought back a little bit of that, some Nilo-Saharian, you know what I'm saying? Some Nilo-Saharians, you know what I'm saying, or Central Sudanian Nilo-Saharians migrated into, you know what I'm saying, the Congo. You know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with like what's that group called? The Bantu people, the people with the elongated heads, those are Nilo-Saharian people. You know what I'm saying? They Central Sudanian.
Yep. So it's not so easily cut and dry across the lines, man. When you said who were the original North Africans and stuff like that. Well, you know, you got different waves of different cultures, you know, and you really can't say they was black or white. You know, you can't really say that. I mean, the only thing you can do is take into account where they emerged from. And then you can maybe imagine, based on they place of emergence, what they might have looked like as far as skin tone. You know what I'm saying? But it really, I mean, we found the reconstruction of the Jebel Irhoud man, you know, and he was dark. But if you look at his face, he don't look like a modern West African.
Yeah, modern
human.
No.
He don't look like a modern human at all.
He actually was probably a outlier from an outlier population for some of the archaic humans or ghost populations, you know what I'm saying, that you do find in, you know what I'm saying, modern West Africa today. You know what I'm saying? Because modern, you know, the Niger Congo, you know what I'm saying, or Niger Godolphin family, you know, it came from the east. You know what I'm saying? Even before them, even before the Niger Congo people, you know what I'm saying, they weren't the first late Stone Age people to come into West Africa.
Exactly.
You had what you call the West African hunter-gatherers.
Yep.
Who came in from Shum Laka, you know what I'm saying, coming in from a southern corridor from the east 30,000 years ago.
Yep.
But these people were a cousin group to modern day pygmies, you know what I'm saying? They always weren't short statured either, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Probably short on average from Niger Congo people, you know what I'm saying? They got different height statures, some taller than others, but they were a subgroup, you know, West African hunter gatherers or cousins to Central African hunter gatherers. They split up, and then these people mixed in with them archaic humans that was already there when they migrated there too. You know what I'm saying? And then
exactly.
Then the Niger Congo people, or not proto Niger Congo people, start coming in, or what they call these Sudanic Saharian populations.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was Niger, you know, of course it was proto Niger Congo people, and there was certain degree of Nilo-Saharians coming in too. You know what I'm saying? Like the early aquatic the early aquatic phase of Nilo-Saharan is probably like 2000, especially dealing with when you look at the Kefi population. They definitely were you know what I'm saying, Nilo-Saharan or early Nilo-Saharan type people. They were
Now,
still practicing aquatic hunter-gathering lifestyle.
now Kithians and Kithians, I think. I'm not sure because I'm kind of rusty on it, but what would you say? Now I know humans have like they look different, even amongst certain groups. But I seen some writings where it said Kithians they had the mectoid look. What would you say?
That's because they was mixed. The
Uh-huh.
original Kefian look is Nilo-Saharan, but some of them
like modern Nilos.
yeah. Like you look at their bone structure, but in certain areas they mixed with the Iberian Maroons in certain little regions.
Okay.
So you had like a merger, you know what I'm saying? Or like a mixed group, you know what I'm saying? But originally, I guess the nucleus of that group come from some type of Nilo-Saharan group. These people had wavy line pottery.
Mm-hmm.
So that wavy line pottery come from Nilo-Saharan type people. That's like a Christopher Eyre, according to Christopher Eyre, that's a Nilo-Saharan cultural signature. Then they had those those harpoon axes. I mean not axes, but harpoons. These bone harpoons that they use for like hippopotamus hunting, crocodile hunting, that you still even find even in the Sudan, all the way like the lake areas and around Kenya, Turkana, area. You got the Coleman, and the Uduk Nilo-Saharans, or some of the most basal ones that still living. You know what I'm saying? That's some of the most basal languages, like the Coleman languages and the Uduk languages. You know what I'm saying? They still have that sort of aquatic lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? The aquatic hunter-gatherer lifestyle was the lifestyle of Nilo-Saharans before they became pastoralists.
Got you. So look, even amongst people that you might easily more imagine to be like darker skin or whatever, they were mixing with different groups. It could have been different groups of dark skinned people. It could have been different groups of lighter skinned people. We don't know. All we got is fossils. You know what I'm saying? And then they could pull genetics, genetic samples from those biological findings and stuff like that. But
what's that movie? Remember that old movie 10,000 BC?
I never seen it,
bro. It's kind of, you know what I'm saying, of course the movie fantasy, but it's a little bit of the truth in it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised you ain't seen the movie. It's the movie with the dude with the dreads. He look like he a Mesolithic European. You know what I'm saying? Dreads, he with the saber tooth. He go all over to Egypt and shit. But at the beginning of the movie, his people had some type of connection with these African people across this desert. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
When he traveled across the desert, he came in contact with these Niger Congo or Nilo-Saharan type tribe or whatever, and they recognized his people. Like they recognized somebody that was from his people that came there before or whatever. You know what I'm saying? When he traveled through there, you gotta see that movie. Like, it was kind of on point when they did.
It's called 10,000 BC.
Yeah,
man, I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds interesting. Yeah, so like I'm telling you, bro, human history is more strange. It's more stranger than some of these religions that y'all be talking about and all that. Like it's deep. You know what I'm saying? Science is deep. The study of reality is deep, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you really gonna be in for a ride. When you study this human history, this paleontology of Africa, African diversity, the history of different African populations. You know what I'm saying? Would you okay, this people favorite question. Okay, what's your breakdown with modern Egyptians and ancient Egyptians? What's your breakdown with that? Like, how did they become, or what markers make them who they were, and would you say they're African now?
Yeah, they are African. They still the Egyptians, the modern Egyptians are the Egyptians. Bro. And then they range in themselves too. Like all the modern Egyptians don't look like the people in Cairo. You know what I'm saying? Look, bro. Look up right now. You pull up on the screen, bro. Pull up Tewodros, the patriarch, the Coptic patriarch of the church.
How you spell it?
Tewodros. T is Tewodros. And type in Coptic type in Coptic patriarch.
You said TEWOED or TEWODRUO? I mean DROUS.
EROS.
EROS.
It's an Ethiopian king named Tewodros too. But.
And you said what was his last name?
Just look up the Patriarch of Alexandria. The Patriarch of Alexandria is basically the Coptic Pope.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? The Eastern Orthodox Pope. It's two, you know what I'm saying? The Catholics got their Pope, but the Eastern Orthodox got their Pope too in Egypt.
Oh yeah. Hold on, I'm typing it up right now.
He gonna have glasses. He gonna look like an East African. Coptic.
I'm gonna put the screen on there so we could make sure we looking at the right person. Hold on.
You got somewhat of a kinky-ish beard.
Okay, I think I seen him before, but I'm not sure.
He got a black.
It's this dude right here.
He got a black hat on right there with the beard, with the glasses.
This dude right here.
Look, yeah.
Yep. That dude African.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? Some eat them. Some of them eat. I remember I went. They got this spot. We gonna have to go over there, dog. Since we both in the H. It's a spot called Blue Nile. I don't know. You might have been there. It's an Ethiopic restaurant.
Okay.
And they got a lot of Christian drawings and stuff. And some of them dudes on them drawings look like this cat.
Yeah. Some of the priests in Ethiopia came down from Egypt. Because remember the Egyptian patriarch had to Frumentius when he converted Izana to you know what I'm saying, when Izana, you know what I'm saying, converted the Oxum to Christianity, right? Frumentius and his brother had to get permission from the patriarchs of Egypt, Alexandria.
I think I read about that recently.
Yeah.
So he said modern. Go ahead.
A lot of the priests, you know what I'm saying, came down, you know what I'm saying, from Egypt. And continuously came down from Egypt all the way into Haile Selassie time. This dude don't look too far. This dude don't look too far off from Haile Selassie.
Yep. You know what's crazy? Nobody complained about Haile Selassie, and he don't look like your typical African that people think African's supposed to look like. But nobody, when it come to him, nobody say nothing about him being an Arab. They don't say nothing, But when it comes to modern Egyptians and Berbers, they Arabs. But this guy, he said,
this dude talking about something. No, ain't modern Egyptians are not very mixed with Arabs. They mix
with not.
A lot of shit. They mix with Turks. They mix with Greeks. They mix with all that shit. But their main substratum is that East African component, the Coptic component.
Yep. They biggest component is Egyptian.
Yeah. Bro.
Everything else is small.
Bro, I got a dude Facebook friend, bro. The dude, I don't know if I think you might have posted this too. But the dude got like 14% Nilo-Saharan DNA, bro.
Yeah, you talk about Osama El Bana.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's my boy.
yeah. Got like 14%. You know what I'm saying? And then they, and then,
Dinka.
of course they got the Amadic component because
Yep.
by the way Afro-Asiatic speakers. Period.
Yep.
But even what makes what makes like because like when the Arabs came in, they came in as a military force. They ain't come in as like no whole population like that.
They wasn't even that deep, bruh. And the same thing happened in Northwest Africa. Same thing.
Yeah, and then what makes Egyptian Arabic so unique to other Arabic varieties is because of the fucking indigenous Egyptian language.
Exactly.
The dialect.
Egyptian Arabic. And it's
them niggas speak Arabic Ebonics, nigga.
for somebody that I'm not an expert in Arabic, but I know I mess with a little Arabic. They don't speak the same. Like they got their own words in Arabic, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's more related to Coptic and shit. It's related to the original language.
And really, the ones, okay, even though some Egyptians do have ear a little bit of ear. It's not as much as y'all be trying to draw it, you know, but mainly most Egyptians tell me, and most scholars say that the Egyptians that converted to Islam, those are the ones that have a little Arab, and the ones that kept their Coptic traditions is the ones that's more Egyptian.
No, it's the same, bro. They did a DNA. They did a DNA. They did a DNA analysis about the same shit. All of them, they got the same shit, bro.
So if they got
Arabic,
a lot of them, well, hold on. He asked me quick. Okay, so what percentage of J haplogroup have?
They had J. They had J before the Arabs, bro. That J been there since the J been there before the Hyksos had J.
But what percentage?
The J been in since the J been there since the Neolithic period. 10,000, not 10,000, but like 6,000, 8,000 years ago.
Can you give us
coming in back and forth? The Arabs ain't the first ones with J.
Can you give us the percentage? And can you let us know which subclade that it is that belongs to Arabs? And can you let us know that? Now I'm talking about Jonathan Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, and I ain't trying to get on you. I'm just saying, like, you know, anything that they think is not African, you know, and they see something that go against the grain, or they believe it go against the grain, they just throw it out there and don't have the details. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know what they percentage is, and what's the original, what haplogroup do you know that's supposed to be, that they supposed to have? What haplogroup are they supposed to have? Can you tell us that? You could get on the show if you want to. I'll share you the link. From my understanding, it's about maybe like by 10-15% Arab ancestry in Egypt. I might be wrong, but I know I'm close. What you think?
You said what now?
According to your studies, but I'm kind of rusty because I haven't been looking at the information. I've been doing a lot of other stuff. But from the last time I looked at some information about the population diversity, is that the population in Egypt may be about 10-15%, have 10-15% Arab component.
Yeah, you probably so. Yeah, probably just Arab, probably other stuff too. And then too, shoes. Southern shit. When them Greeks came in, them Greeks had J markers too. J markers all throughout Southern Europe that came in through the Neolithic period. when agriculture came into Southern Europe, them niggas had J's and E's.
E was in the Levant. E was in Southern Europe. So somebody could have E. And even though E is mostly in Africa, they could have E from something else.
It's most of them E3B markers. Them E3B markers that you find all throughout Southern Europe. You find some older E's there too. That probably that probably came into bottlenecks that came in with E3B markers.
I really want to know though. I really want to know which subclade of J, because we all know that J don't just belong to Arabs. You got other Semitic speakers that fall under J too.
Yeah.
Okay, but what is the percentage, and what is the subclade of J that you're talking about? There was a study that said the average Egyptian had about 50% J. Most Northeast Africans, Ethiopian, Somalians have E. What you got to say about that?
No, I ain't no 50%, bro. I don't know what you're talking about 50%. You must be talking about just that little find that they found from them.
Can you give us the link to that source, or can you give us the name of that source?
And then Somalians are 60% East African, about 40% Eurasian.
Most of them people in that region, about 30% Eurasian.
Yeah.
From the Horn to even
and they got
Sudan.
and they got basal Eurasian in them too. Basal Eurasian try to look more like middle, like the earliest Eurasian that them what Christopher Eric called the Eritreic speakers, because you got two major branches of Afro-Asiatic. You got the Amadic branches, Proto-Amadic, branched off. Then you had the Eritreic branch that branched off, which is basically every other language. But the early Eritreic speakers, when they branched off from the Amadic speakers, they end up mixing with these basal Eurasians that come in through the Arabian Peninsula. And people probably look like something like Southern Asians, like Vidoids, still dark.
Yep.
Probably had wavy, long, curly to wavy looking hair. Mixing in with these Amadic speakers. Who probably always was like dark skinned, melodic like, but probably always, still had aquiline features for living in highland regions. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about it, okay, like Nubians, bro, do you know Nubians they formed their own cluster out of Nilotic people? Nubians already had a West Eurasian component. You know what I'm saying? Nubians and Egyptians, they were like the first nations of that area. The Nile Valley part. And all those people, they share similar source populations. Not saying all of them exactly, but they share common ancestry from source populations.
Yeah. Modern
to certain extents.
Modern Nubians is just the leftover of the diversity that was.
Yep.
It's like the C group only want to call them Nubians because they didn't speak Nilo-Saharan language. The C group, the A group to the C group were Cushitic people. You know what I'm saying? What they call Lower Nubia, their region was very Cushitic dominant. You know what I'm saying? When you get into like upper Nubia, upper Sudan, that's when you get more Nilo-Saharan groups. You know what I'm saying? Even though, like, like even the northern part, even though you had like it was Cushitic dominant, you still had like Nilo-Saharan people that were living amongst them, around, which is more dominant in the region.
Yeah, so basically what we saying is y'all think that look that they have, which is a supposedly like an Oriental look, y'all think that's new, but that's not new. That's old. That's an old look. That's not.
Yeah, you always had a diversity there. Yeah, you always had like some type of diversity there. You know what I'm saying? You had the, Egyptians, people, they own northern Eritreic branches. cousin languages to the Cushitic language, their own branches. Some northern branch. Came into Lower Nubia or whatever, mixed all in.
So if you seen an ancient Nubian today and you looked at his facial features, would you think he blended in more with African Americans, or would he blend in more with modern Sudanese people or like Somalians?
Right, like Somali, got the shitty mixing in there. A lot of them, C group people, they became Nilo-Saharan speakers later on because the permaculture became dominant. Empire. A lot of them C group people, this diffused or diffused, amongst Nilo-Saharan. You even had it in the more recent time, like the Musha. The Mushariki, what they call them people, the Bashari Bija people, some Bija groups, emerged with like Nubian groups or whatever, and they speak, Nilo-Saharan languages today. And even when we say Nubian, that's a very general term. We got very different dialects.
Exactly.
East, what they call East, Northeastern Sudanic, or languages. They come out of Nilo-Saharan groups. And the closest languages to these groups is some of the Nilo-Saharan groups that you find in Eritrea, like Nara language. The Numa language is its own branch. Numa is more basal, but the Nara languages are very related to Nubian language, which is like the Ma'a, the Kinzi, the Dongola, all these different, dialects, that's called Nubian today. Even the Nabateh, really for the noble people, they are really, I forgot what they really call it. They call it the Ma'a too. But even them calling themselves that's like a Romanization. They didn't originally call themselves the Nabateh or the Nubians. It's just they were Romanized, And they, they kind of like, when you see Nabateh or Nubian, it's kind of like a creolization of them, identifying as that because they were Romanized.
So, a lot of people, y'all gotta take into account, okay? Y'all be trying to say Egyptians was black, but they was Nubians and all that. But Nubians even had a North African West Eurasian component. Even though they might have had darker skin than, local Egyptians, they still had the same component that was present in Egyptians.
Yeah, like shit. Even during like some of the dynastic period, the Kerma group, during the intermediate period, the Kerma population or the Kerma empire, partnered up with the Hyksos to go against, Thebes and shit. If you look up the wars of the 18 to 17 dynasty with Kamos and all that, he infiltrated a letter from Kerma, them trade, them going back and forth with Hyksos. Shit, Kerma damn near destroyed what was left over of the last dynasties of Egypt.
Damn.
It was embarrassing. Like they try to erase it out of history. That's what really, like what we think of the the Nilo-Saharan Nubians is really the Kerma culture.
Exactly. Because all the Nilo-Saharans ain't Nubians. Those are different groups.
Different groups. And a lot of times they're called the C groups, the Egypt groups. They're not really saying a lot of them kind of like linked up with the Egyptians as a military force to go against permaculture. Even though they Kush, they Cushitic groups, they still had some Nilo-Saharan ancestry because Nilo-Saharans and Cushitic people lived alongside each other for a long time.
But the thing about it is, when people when people form clans and families and stuff like that, they emerge into their own little group over time. So you might have had some Nilotic people that was dealing more closely with these Kushitics, than others, and it was other Nilotic people that was doing their own thing. So, eventually over time, these people emerged their own culture, which is what we call nowadays Nubian culture. But these people wasn't walking around looking like Michael Jordan and typical African American. That's why, like, when I see African American women that came from West Africa, they most of their lineage, and they call themselves Nubian goddesses and stuff, I be laughing, because if you seen a Nubian today, you would think he was an Arab. You would think he was mixed with Arab or something, because they have North African / West Eurasian component, just like Somalis, just like Ethiopics, just like Egyptians.
Yeah, I work with a lady. She a Nubian. She looked just like I thought she was Habesha at first.
Yep. A lot of them Nubians today, now don't get me wrong, they might have some recent West Asian ancestry, but not much to say they just got completely erased.
Yeah, I mean that West Asian ancestry been in there for a long time. Even the Cushitic ancestry that they have been mixing with West Eurasians for a long time. I mean, think about the things that they got, like Nilo-Saharians, Cushitic groups. They got goats and sheep and all these different things and goods coming in from Asia. You thinking people ain't mixing and marrying each other? You know what I'm saying? Even the donkey come out of the proto-Cushitic people domesticated the donkey. It's donkeys all over North Africa and Asia. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So people been trading, going back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Intermingling with each other.
Been doing it.
Yep.
Asia was the first continent when they exited out of Africa. Asia was the first place they was in.
Yeah, even in the Neolithic period, you know what I'm saying, you had a period where they found like, obsidian tools, you know what I'm saying, being traded back and forth from the Red Sea, you know what I'm saying, between the Red Sea and Asia and Africa.
You got to think about it. Okay, if you a king of Egypt, you a pharaoh, and you looking for trade relations, are you gonna be trying to spend money on traveling to do trade across the Sahara, with countries that's far away, or like that? Or you just gonna spend money, you gonna save money and spend less money on doing trade with people that's close by, like people in the Levant, or people that's a little further south of you inside of Africa. I mean, especially during the time where nobody had no concept of the African continent. People didn't give a fuck if you was a nation from the Levant, or your people look a little different than us. Like, no, that's not how shit work. I'm not finna spend all this money and then risk losing soldiers, losing men, trying to travel all the way across the Sahara just because they African. It don't work like that, fam.
Yeah. And then certain like cultures and trends and like certain things like you know what I'm saying, certain things from one culture can spread to other cultures. You know what I'm saying? Even like the style of rulership, things of that nature, like for example, the divine kingship comes out of Nilo-Saharian culture. You know what I'm saying? But it's spread it into certain, Afro-Asiatic cultures, because obviously, you know what I'm saying, mm-hmm. Egyptians, you know what I'm saying, practiced divine kingship, you know what I'm saying, which later on became they call it, became divine kingship, where they bury the you know what I'm saying, goods, or even bury usually with sacrifice, you know what I'm saying, bury sacrifices and service with the king.
So just in case, what is black? Can you give us what black is?
You talking about the order dude?
This
Yeah,
guy
black.
right here, he's saying South Egypt is 90% black. What is black, first off?
Them dudes mixed. Them Southern Egyptians is still mixed. They
Yeah,
still
that's
like
what I'm saying. Like, you could be like African Americans. Y'all claim to be black, but y'all, most of us average 20%, 25% European.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand, like, what are you talking about? What is black, bro? What's black? Are you saying dark-skinned Africans? Somalians are dark-skinned Africans, but they still have a North African or a West Eurasian component. I'm trying to understand.
Even the far people, the far people live in some of the hottest places in Africa, in the Danakil Depression. They still got Eurasian marker.
They still got a West Eurasian marker, fam. I'm trying to, like, people in that part of the world. That
It
part
don't matter.
of Africa,
It don't matter about dark skin.
yeah.
I mean, a South Indian dude is Eurasian. Aboriginal Australian is it a Eurasian?
Hey, I'm not taking no disrespect, bro. I like when you come bring your stuff, but I want you to show us what you're talking about, because you know a lot of us are damaged by this black stuff, this black white. You know, we can't even see outside the spectrum. You know, we can't even look at science in the face and say, oh, this is what they talking about. Everything got to be black or white. You know, and I just want y'all to understand, this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, that Africans, just because an African ain't black, don't mean he not an African. You know, and black ain't necessarily a thing. Black ain't really a thing, bro.
He's got different shades of brown. Even the darkest Nilo-Saharan dude is brown. It's like the same dark brown. You look at cocoa beans, a cocoa, really dark brown. You know what I'm saying? You look at them pictures and them photos, reflectings, it might look like that, bluish and stuff like that, but it's really just brown, yo.
Exactly. That's like when Ethiopians come over here and y'all be trying to tell them they black, and they be like, I'm not black, I'm Tingre. That's because they don't live by that social construct. They don't live by black and white. They go by tribal groups and languages and cultures. It's not because they hate themselves. It's because they see themselves as Tingre or Amhara or Oromo. That's how they see themselves. They don't see themselves as black. Only we see ourselves as that. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to tell you, this is a theory that I have. Most Africans that have been colonized by either Arabs or Europeans, or they have had contact with Arabs or Europeans, they are the ones that view the world as black and white. But the other ones that ain't never really had too much contact with those people, they don't really see themselves as black or white. And that's just, it's a theory of mine, but you can factualize it yourself. And when I finally start traveling to Africa, I'm gonna be going around asking people these questions. I guarantee you're gonna have people saying, what is black? What is black? I done met people from West Africa that told me that they wasn't black. You know what I'm saying?
You go to the bush, you go too deep enough in the bush, motherfucker ain't gonna know what the fuck Africa is.
Exactly. Real talk. Nah, I don't study Ge'ez. I know it's a Semitic language, but I don't study Ge'ez.
Ge'ez is Semitic, but it got a Cushitic substratum from Aga. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because the Aga languages was like some of the leftover original languages that was in the area. You know what I'm saying? Them southern Arabian speakers are coming back and forth.
Yeah, you gotta.
Southern Arabian ain't Arabic for people that don't know.
Exactly.
The whole Southern Arabian languages.
They Cushitic.
Yeah, Arabic languages actually come in from
the north.
Levant later on.
Yep.
You had other Semitic languages, older Semitic that went south early. You know what I'm saying?
Arabs. I'm not saying that the people that live in the people that live in the peninsula, they call, like, outsiders call them Arabs, but they still different groups of people. And the people that you see that everybody known for with Arab, you know, Arab this, Arab that, the Arab speakers, they came from the north. They came from the southern Levant in the desert. They came from the Levantine desert, the Syrian desert. That's where they came from.
What they call them, the Nabateans and all them.
Nabateans, yeah.
Yeah, all them type of people.
That's
even
what
you look at the people of Socotra, you know what I'm saying? They have a very distinct look. You know what I'm saying? They share a lot of look with people from East Africa. You know what I'm saying? They South Arabia.
And that's the thing, like, you know, these people in East Africa, you know, they are not a product of invaders. You know, now don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna act like Arabs, you know, Arab Muslims didn't come in, you know, and instill their cultural values in Egypt. I'm not gonna say that. That would be a lie. But the Oriental component was already present in North Africa. It was already present in Northeast Africa, in the Horn of Africa, prior to these civilizations, prior to these empires. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand.
I mean, U6 came in around 30,000
years ago, bro. These are old lineages. These people was in Africa before Africa was even called Africa, bro.
Yeah, because even the term Africa come from the Amazigh tribe, Afri.
Exactly.
Yeah, come from the Amazigh tribe. So modern
non-black Africans.
Yeah, modern day Tunisia. You know what I'm saying? That was a Roman province. Only reason we call the whole continent that because European expansion. You know what I'm saying?
At first, North Africa was Africa, and then sub-Saharan Africa below the Sahara was Ethiopia.
Even I'm just saying, like, even from the ground, from the people perspective, like the indigenous perspective, we never had a concept of a continent.
Exactly, bro.
We just went by the regions of who was our neighbors. You know what I'm saying, and area. You know what I'm saying? Egypt didn't know shit about nothing else but that damn river. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. And they knew about the Southerners. That's it.
In Levant shit.
That's it. It was so basically we when we trying to do all this race war stuff and we looking at the continent of Africa, we looking through a colonialized, a modern European lens. Because Europeans named Africa. They named first it was North Africa, that was Africa. That's the original. That's why I made a video called Who Are the Original Africans? And I know some people didn't like it, you know, but it's the facts, bro. The Romans because the Greeks called North Africa Libya, but the Romans, they called North Africa Africa, and it was named after Berbers because that name or that word is in their lingo. You know, I think they had a deity named Afri or some shit like that.
Yeah, it means the dust. You just mean the dust. It's okay. You know, it's an Afro-Asiatic term. Even the term afar.
Yeah. So y'all
same similar concept, but it's different Afro-Asiatic dust. People with the dust. People live in desert. You know what I'm saying? Region.
Exactly, bro. And that's how you know, light-skinned, white-looking Africans ain't new. Because even back in those times, they seen the difference. That's why they named Africa below the Sahara Ethiopia. Because they used the Greek term, the land of the burnt face people. You know, they wrote down what they seen. They didn't know shit about it, so they tried their best to explain it.
They call India Ethiopia too.
Exactly.
If you was a dark Greek,
but and now you got people on the internet trying to say they the same people as us because Europeans call them Ethiopians. No, bro. They was just trying to simplify shit so they could travel and they could know who they was gonna be dealing with. And the people, the type of people, describe they face, how they look, you know, shit like that. But they knew Indians, they knew they was different people than people in West Africa. They knew that.
Yeah, it did too. And then it was crazy. They talk about the Arab expansion in North Africa. The Arabs weren't the first Semitic speakers in North Africa.
Exactly, bruh.
The Phoenicians spoke Semitic languages too.
Yep.
You know, even like you look at Hannibal, you know what I'm saying? He got the
Yep.
deity in his name. Glorious.
His name is Baal, Hannibal.
Yeah. Referencing to the Canaanite deity Baal. You know
His name means mercy of Baal.
Yep.
That's Levantine religion. Them boys was Canaanite worshipers. The Canaanite, they patron deity was Baal. You know him from the Bible. The storm god, Baal Hadad.
Yeah. And they influence a lot of the Amazigh tribes too when they came in contact with them.
Exactly. But what you gotta consider is, like, a lot of people, they say North Africans is Arabs. Okay, yeah, it is Arabs in North Africa. But when Arabs came to North Africa, they say, oh, you know, they replaced the black folks. No, that's not.
They converted. Them niggas, them Amazigh niggas converted.
Yeah. But the thing is, they try to say they replaced all the black folks. Like, bro, you mean to tell me 20,000 Arabs replaced all the indigenous black folks in North Africa? You know how weak that make us look? That make black folks look weak as hell, like sub-Saharan types.
Bro, they say, bro, even during the Roman times, they said some of the Amazigh tribes in certain areas in like Mauritania, Morocco was trying to like enslave some of the Niger Congo people that was minority that wasn't part of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like even like and people got to get out of their mind too. Like Mediterranean don't just mean Greek.
Exactly.
Like that's just
Africa
one.
Is Mediterranean too, bro.
It's just one. Yeah, the Aegean Sea is
one
not the whole Mediterranean. This is a part of the Mediterranean. You got the African part. You know what I'm saying? And then like what made the Mediterranean what it is Afro-Asiatic culture. They're the ones who brought the grain collecting culture or the wheat collecting culture, even make the bread and all that other stuff, you know what I'm saying, and the flatbread culture and all that. That come from Afro-Asiatic culture in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So one of the major ingredients in Mediterranean culture comes out of Afro-Asiatic, you know what I'm saying, culture.
And that's very much African, regardless of how they look. That's very much African.
Iberian Maroons and Mediterranean, even the Tyrian culture, you know what I'm saying? They were Mediterranean, early. But like even all the resources that you find in certain parts of Egypt, you know what I'm saying? It cuts off around like the first cataract, you know what I'm saying, where Sudan you get more into like a tropical plateau, you know what I'm saying, where you can grow sorghum and things of that nature. But in the Neolithic period, you know what I'm saying, majority of you know what I'm saying, Egypt was like, you know what I'm saying, green or whatever. It was Mediterranean environment, part of the basin. Even the flora and fauna was Mediterranean. Even though the people came in, was coming in from different directions, this is what it is. This is what the terrain was. It was just, you know what I'm saying, the people, the dominant culture was the Afro-Asiatic culture though, coming in from the Red Sea Hills though. You know what I'm saying, bringing in this grain collecting advanced technique and some particular tools, these backblade tools. You know what I'm saying? They introduced to these Eastern Oranian or Eastern Iberian Maroon groups that was already lingering in those areas when they got there.
Exactly. So I got a question for you. I'm not sure how much you deal with like different African climates, but would you say, okay, like West Sub-Saharan Africa, would you say they have winters?
No,
like
I just said
Senegal, Nigeria, Ghana, places like that, Congo.
I just got wet phases and dry phases.
Wet phases and dry phases. They don't hardly have no winter. But Egypt
on the monsoons and shit.
Yeah, like places in Egypt, like North Africa, they have winters. They
Yeah,
have winters. It be snowing out there, bro.
it's the same. It's on the same climate. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like Eurasia or Asia, like the Levant and all that. It's like the same type of, you know what I'm saying, terrain.
Exactly. So just think about it. I mean, I'm not saying, I know everything, but look at where most black looking people live. They live in the equatorial regions of Africa where they don't have no winter. They just have wet phases and dry phases. But when you look at the parts of Africa that snow and they have winters and it's mostly and when it's hot, it's only dry, they look more whiter or they have lighter skin and they have Eurasian or West Eurasian features. Like that never occurred to y'all, that y'all never thought about that. Like Egypt has it actually snows in Egypt, bro. Like it's I don't know about Egypt, but matter of fact, my boy Osama El Bana, he told me that it snows in Egypt. He sent me some images of it snowing in Egypt. And in North Africa it snow. You know what I'm saying? Because we got the Atlas Mountains out there, and them hoes be having snow caps on them, ice caps. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that comes from snow. So it gets fairly cold, and those are mild climates.
Shit. Even during the ancient times, shit, East Africa had a cold phase. Southern East Africa should. Mount Kilimanjaro around the Great Lakes got snow on.
Yep. But you gotta take all this stuff into account. It's not just so cut and dry like black and white. Oh no, he was white. Oh no, he was black. It's more to it than that.
Yeah. Even southern Africa, the southern African coast has a Mediterranean type.
Yep. Right. Yep. I heard it snow out there too sometimes.
Oh wow.
I don't know about all the time. I don't know if it's a consistent thing, but climate changes, a lot, over a span of time. So, but I've seen, I don't know how true it is, but I have seen images of snow in South Africa, like the South African coast.
Oh wow. And they say too, like Djibouti area had Mediterranean climate too, like doing like the Egyptian dynastic period.
That's what I'm saying. Like we are more African American. I mean, you might experience some racism in Egypt, but if you a man, you should have tough skin, and just deal with it if you really want to go to Egypt, but y'all gotta go over there. And stop with all this nonsense.
A lot of the racist shit Egypt came from a lot of the British.
You said what?
I said a lot of that Egyptian racism came from the Egyptian. I mean, a lot of the like racism in Egypt, you know what I'm saying, came in like the modern racism in Egypt. A lot of it came into the British, like the British.
I never knew, because when I see like media, when I see people talk about how they visited Egypt, they don't really talk about who it was. They just make it seem like it was an Arab, because they think all North Africans are Arabs. So they just say, oh yeah, them Arabs, they don't like us, and all that shit. So I don't know. But I mean, it does make sense, because you did have the Egyptian Sudan and the English Egyptian Sudan. Yeah.
You got the Turkish rulers, you know what I'm saying? Like the dynasties of like later Egypt was like Turkish, Egyptian, you know what I'm saying, British, you know what I'm saying? Even like to the
modern times, the British was over there.
What they call the Mahdi Wars. You know what I'm saying? Or the Mahdis, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, the Mahdi, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was Egypt teaming up with the British. You know what I'm saying, to fight them. You know the Sudanic flag from the time of the Mahdi, you know what I'm saying, that's from that time is the why Sudan had a flag they have today, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the colors and also the Mahdi colors is actually influence of the Pan African color because he emerged different Africans together, different African groups and tribes together, Sudan, and I think one of the groups, one of the cavalry, they had green flag, one had a red flag, and one had black flag.
Okay.
And if you look at the modern flag of Sudan today is green, black, red, and white. You know what I'm saying?
Fast. Yeah, North Africa was easier to be a melting pot because it was closer. It had more vicinity to the Mediterranean, and it had more vicinity to other kingdoms. That's why. Yeah, it's a corridor, and that's why you got more influx of haplogroup J in the northern delta of Egypt because you had people from Asia always present there. You had people from Asia living right outside of the modern Egyptian border.
And Southern Europe. That's why I say the Greeks had Jays too.
Yeah.
In earlier times, the Greeks brought in the wine, even the Minoan period, like the Minoans, like in the Neolithic period, or pre-dynastic period, Minoans and early Egyptians been trading with each other.
Exactly. But none of that takes away from the fact that, and you know what's crazy? They have I wish I had the stuff. I'm gonna do another one, where I have my stuff with me. But Egyptians are actually more blacker than they used to be. Like ancient Egyptians had way more West North African, West Eurasian ancestry or a component. Not saying that it was just a flood of West Asians, but saying that they had a remote connection to West Asia. Like they had a super old ancestral connection to the people that came back to Africa. But now they have more sub-Saharan African genetics than they did in the ancient times. And you can go to, if you want to learn more about that, I would suggest going to the YouTube search bar and type in Bior, Bior. He gonna break it out. He gonna break it down because that's his side. That's his main focus of study because he's a Nilo-Saharan from Sudan. He's a Dinka. But they have new studies out that shows, the genetic variation from old time, from old mummies, and old regular population people to now. And it shows that those people they were more North African back then than they are now.
Yeah, they got that, ancient North African component. So I told the Afro-Asiatic people that came in from the Red Sea Hills themselves and mixed with people that was already there.
Exactly. So, it's not that cut and dry, y'all. I hope the people that follow my channel, I hope, y'all kind of get a better grasp of what's going on so y'all won't think I'm just pulling stuff out the side of my neck, when I drop my videos. But I'm going to give y'all, the next time we go live, I'm going to give y'all more links, that y'all can read yourself. Because I know people like me, I like to have sources that I can follow up with and read myself. Now, I got one more, well, I don't know, it might be a couple questions, but just one more little topic. It's the Fulani people. Okay? We got a group of people, they scared, they don't want the Fulani to emerge from the populations that they did emerge from, and they mad. They think I'm lying and making stuff up when I say, Fulanis emerged from some ancient Berbers. they mix from they are a mix of ancient Berbers and subs and people that was in Senegal.
But I got the whole genetic sequence.
Bro,
But they not only did they come from ancient Berbers from like Algeria area, them Berbers in that region would mix with a Nilo-Saharan type or Saharian group, and them people mixed with Berbers. So like they already was mixed with like a Nilo-Saharan type group before they before they mixed with the people of the Serir.
So they was like a taboo type of people.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you had Saharian type, like song, like probably it's because they clustered with the song guy. You know what I'm saying?
Levels, you know Songha, that's another group people be sleeping on.
Whoever these people were, they probably were a group. They were probably a group that was related to the Sangha, or related to like people of the Kanem, you know, them type of Nilo-Saharan groups. You know what I'm saying? That was in the West, and they mixed with some Berbers, and then when them mixed populations came into, you know, Senegambia, they mixed with the Serir. You know what I'm saying? These Serir type people. You know, because the closest language to Fuller is Serir. Particularly Serir sign. It got different. We got different branches of Serir, but the particular one is Serir sign, which is the most northern Serir branch.
Yep. Man, I pulled up a genetics chart, you know, of the ancestral populations of Fulanis from Burkina Faso. You know, and most of them had 50% to 30% North African ancestry. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I know this one guy, you know, he say he don't got no Europe, like he got like hardly no European ancestry, you know. But if you really a Fulani, you gonna have some West Eurasian admixture.
Bro. You know the lactose persistent gene?
Yeah.
Was it the Fulani guy? Definitely the market that they got comes straight out of Europe, bro.
Yep. Because they got some writings where they think the Fulanis they had an ancient admix with Eurasian population, and then they might have re-admixed with some more modern or ancient Europeans.
Yeah, it's because they're RV88 too. You know what I'm saying? Out of the boat. It came through Asia and it went to the Balkans and came to North Africa.
Yep. But I know people that claim they Fulani, you know, on at least on one side, but they say they don't got no European or no white, whatever they want to call it, no white genetic. But bro,
unless his family was a Fulani, you know, because Fulani isn't for the code of Palaku was ended up eventually became like, of course you had your true Fulani.
Yeah.
Eventually became like you have Fulanization.
Yeah, people that got absorbed into Fulani.
Absorbed into the shit, you know what I'm saying? Became full about, you know what I'm saying, by culture, trade, and marriage and shit. Not technically full-blooded, full-blooded.
Exactly.
Or adoption. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I could tell you this. If you claim you Fulani and you don't got a little bit of North African, West Eurasian ancestry, your family might be one of those Fulani-sized Fulanis, or you just not Fulani at all. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know. Boys be thinking they could play you with genetics, you know, but if you took a genetics test, you're not just finna get no DNA from your dad. You finna get DNA from both sides of your family. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be talking about you got DNA, but you only talk about what's on your daddy's side. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nowhere in here that no African American, ain't nowhere in here that it's an African American walking around with no Nigerian ancestry. Like, that's damn near impossible. Most African Americans have a little bit of Nigerian, if not mostly. So I'm telling y'all, boys be out here, they be out here making shit up, and they be trying to sell y'all stuff. and it don't be true because they think Negroes is ignorant, you know, but it's Negroes out here that's dealing with this, with that they dealing with these genetic studies, and they didn't got their own genetic test, and not only were they happy with that, but they started becoming a genetics or African genetic enthusiast like him and me. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that we experts, but this is what we deal with, you know, and we drop content on this stuff on a persistent basis. So, you know, we not just going from topic to topic. This is what we focus on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, ain't nowhere in here somebody Fulani and they don't got no white African ancestry. It's nowhere in here unless they family became, like he said, became absorbed, and then they started identifying as Fulani because they practice Pulaku.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, I don't want to hold you too much long. I really do appreciate you coming through. You made the show interesting. It's gonna be a lot more people that's gonna pass by and watch it later on. But yeah, man, I hope y'all got a better understanding of some stuff. You know, I hope y'all understand that Fulanis, you know, they not what y'all want them to be. You know what I'm saying? They are a Creole people. They are recently, and oh, another thing, Fulani is not even really that old.
No, like that. Oh, Wolof ain't even that old.
Nope, Wolof people not that old.
The original Wolof languages is Lebu.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It was a cleric language for the Wolof kingdom, but the language is kind of a mixture of Mani, Chukola, you know what I'm saying, French and Arabic.
Oh yeah, you talking about modern Wolof?
Yeah. But the original
they do
language
have French in their language because I study a little bit of that.
Yeah, the original language is Lebu. That's the most basal you know what I'm saying, version of Wolof.
When would you say Wolof people emerged or Lebu people emerged?
The Lebu people are old, you know what I'm saying? They related to the Syrian, you know what I'm saying, the Syrian people, you know what I'm saying, the Senegamian language group. You know what I'm saying? But Wolof starts with the Wolof language that we know today starts off with the Wolof Empire, the Jolof Empire.
Okay.
And it was the language of the clerics. It became, you know, the lingua franca of the empire. It was like the noble language at first, and then the least on became like the majority of people's language.
That's deep. So yeah, bro, like I mean, y'all should see it. It ain't just black and white, man. Y'all gotta stop with all this. Like it's 2024. You know, it's a lot more information out there now to be put.
And I would say too, before I get off of it, that's
I can't hear you.
I would say that's where Dr. Joe, that's where he made the mistake at. Where he trying to identify Wolof with Egyptian.
Oh yeah.
The reason he can easily make the mistake is because Wolof have Arabic in it. Arabic is an Afro-Asiatic language, so it's gonna have similarities to other Afro-Asiatic languages. Egyptian language. You can make that mistake easy.
Yep. I seen him in that what's that, General History of Africa. I seen some of his stuff. He was trying to compare linguistics. I'm like, bro, anybody with modern knowledge about languages, you know, the experts that already did it with the linguistics. Like, if Wolof is considered a Niger-Congo language, and you got Afro-Asiatic speakers in Northwest Africa too, you know, it would be more related to those people. If it was really Egyptian, it would be more related to other Afro-Asiatic speakers in West Africa than it is Niger-Congo speakers.
Yeah, like the Chadic, and even one time ago, You know what I'm saying? Them markers, the ancestral markers that these Afro-Asiatic speakers have, like that Berbers have and the Chadic people have, was in Egypt a long time ago before it was Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So whatever the
Okay.
language was, you know what I'm saying, they branched off, you know what I'm saying, we're spreading that culture that became Egypt later anyway. Even the Nile-Saharian culture, the divine kingship, that spread it west too. Like some of that went into Egyptian culture, some Nilo-Saharan culture, or the divine kingship went into Egypt as it did when it went west, because it was already a thing. You know what I'm saying? It was just one of the ingredients that became what Egypt was later. A lot of people get confused with that. You know what I'm saying? Because Nilo-Saharan culture always been Nilo-Saharan culture with the divine kingship. You know what I'm saying? If it goes to the west, you know what I'm saying, different cultures might inherit that too from this particular cultural cluster and just go in different direction. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Afro-Asiatic languages as well, you know what I'm saying? Go different directions. Spreading these identifiers, making Afro-Asiatic culture what it even is in the first place.
Yep. Ray, the skin thing, when you dealing with this type of stuff, it really it's a minor thing, you know, because you got people that look like what you think is an African, you know, a black person that's more related culturally to North Africans that don't look like nothing like you. And you got some people that don't look like you at all, and they might be more African than you genetically. You know what I'm saying? So it's just you know, the skin thing, man, we really gotta let it go, man. And I want to be a part of that, seeing African enthusiasts, you know, drop this color shit.
Yeah, and I recommend them read the book. It's probably free. I think they got free PDFs of this book now. But I really recommend them get the book Skin by Nina Jablonski.
Hold on, what it said it's Skin by who?
Nina Jablonski.
How you spell that?
Skin, and you can just look it up, Nina Jablonski, because her name is Polish. I can't even think how to spell her damn name. It's Jablonski. I think it's JABLONSKI, something like that. Nina Jablonski. She the one that put together the skin map, yo. She the anthropologist that put together the skin. And look at her, some of her lectures on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Nina Jablonski. But her book is called.
I can't even find the book on Google because like they gonna bring up all this other stuff about skin. So
let's just look up the book Skin, and then just probably when you type in Nina, it's gonna start to pop up. Nina, okay. Like her name Nina. Nina.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. A natural history. Nina Jablonski. Okay, hold on. I'm finna put that hoe on. I'm gonna just put
look at some of her lectures too. Look at some of her lectures too. She be going in.
Nina Jablonski. Okay. Yeah, man. Y'all gotta check. Y'all gotta mess with the real science, bro. The real research. And another thing, you know, I was talking to my boy. It's another content creator on YouTube. His name Pan Africanism Strikes Back. You know, he said, you know, they try to erase, you know, blacks from North Africa because the white man don't want us to have no history. I'm like, bro, do you know some of these white folks, like what's that boy name? Lesvian, that Jewish anthropologist. You know who I'm talking about? Lesvian?
I never heard of.
Man, I think his name, well, he got Levsion, Levtion, it's Levtzion, Levsion. Bro, you got Snow White anthropologists sitting up in here trying to tell you about West African civilization that niggas ain't even never heard of. Like, he one of the leading, he's not the leading, but he's one of the leading scholars that's discussing Tichet. You know.
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
I think his name might be Mark or something, Mark Lepsion or something like that. I forgot his first name. But,
yeah.
You know, basically what I'm saying, I ain't trying to get you to kiss the white man ass and then like most people like to think, but I'm saying like, you know, it's people that don't even look like you that they care more about the history than the people that do look like you. Like they going hard, you know, to expose this stuff that a lot of people don't even know about. You know, and they trying to put the puzzle together, you know, because West Africa is mysterious on some fronts, you know, because of the climate, which don't really preserve, you know, certain fossil remains and stuff like that. So that to me, that's why some things are still in the dark, you know, because of the climate and the lack of preservation in the climate, and maybe the type of culture that was practiced where they didn't practice no mummification culture or nothing like that, you know, and it make it kind of hard to build up these genetic profiles for ancient peoples in West Africa. You know what I'm saying? But basically what I want to say is, bro, it might be some Eurocentric type people that want to shit on you, but let's be honest, bro. It is some black African Americans that's out here going hard. You know, like SOY Keita, Michael Gomez. You know, it's some other cats too that I recently learned of that I need to do more research on. You know, but it's
about Augustine.
Yeah, he a continental, ain't he?
Yeah, he from Cameroon, but he do a lot of work on Dorteche too.
Yeah, Augustine Hall, he going hard not only on Teach It, but he also trying to bring light on the independent iron complex in West Africa.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Working
you know, like
and, and one of the you know what I'm saying, European descendant scholars like Kevin McDonald, he do a lot of work too in West Africa.
Exactly. And that's why the reason why I brought that up, you know, is because, bro, these white folks, like all these white folks ain't like that, which I'll be trying to make it seem, you know, and they do got black folks out here doing this real stuff.
Stuff too. And they honor each other, like Christopher Eric, you know, he work alongside, you know, so together. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, Christopher Eric, boy, that boy love Africa.
Exactly.
Put it in this light, like man, you got to get that book, Civilizations of Africa. You're gonna love it, bro, when you get it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you. So we dropping links. He done gave us like 2 good sources, bro, that y'all need to check out. That Skin. This link right here is Skin by Nina Gigi Jablonski. You know, somebody that's trying to get you to understand the science, you know, behind different shades of skin.
Yeah,
you know,
I remember on one of her lectures, she showed all the people she was working with. You know what I'm saying? Her stuff, different scientists. You know what I'm saying? It all working together. You know what I'm saying? To come up with, you know what I'm saying, these answers. And it was, bro, the people that was on them pictures, it was diversity, bro. Asians, Africans, you know, South Asians, Europeans, Middle Easterns. It was all different people on there. It ain't just, you know, science ain't just white. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. They got a man, I forgot the name of that site, man. It's a site, I think, SOY Keita, because SOY Keita, he trying to start, like, you know, he trying to get more diversity, you know, as far as like studying different African countries. Like he trying to get Nigerians in on it, you know, like East Africans, even non-African, you know, because sometimes people from these places, they have a bias. You know, they have tribal biases, you know what I'm saying? And they might share information, you know, to put they tribe in a certain light, you know what I'm saying? So it's better to have people hold each other accountable, you know, from outside, you know what I'm saying? Because they less biased than people that's local, you know what I'm saying? And I forgot the name of that site. I think it's like Nile Valley something, but when I find it, I'm gonna do another live and I'll drop that link. But y'all need to follow these cats, man. It's some real scholars. It's black, white. You know, even though I don't really go by that, I don't judge human variation by that, but I know that's what y'all understand. You know, European, sub-Saharan Africans, African Americans, you know, middle, whatever, Asians, you know, everybody is in the scientific community. It ain't just white people. And when y'all do that, every time y'all do that, y'all make it seem like African Americans are our type of humans, you know, sub-Saharan humans, you know, from Africa, like we are inept. Like we don't have the fortitude, or we don't have the capacity to work in the scientific side of things, you know, like that's what y'all doing. Like when you say, oh, the white man, he just trying to erase our history from North Africa, that means deep down inside, you think that it ain't shit in West Africa. You know, okay, yeah, West Africans, we might not have achieved the architectural achievements that Egyptians did. Okay, that's fine. But we were still developing things in West Africa. You know what I'm saying? We still had iron complexes. We were still forging, smelting iron. You know, we had poison arrows. You know what I'm saying? We were agriculturalists and we evolved from hunter-gatherers to to pastoralists, to agro-pastoralists, to straight agriculture. And some pastoralism still in sub-Saharan Africa, thanks to the Fulbe people. You know what I'm saying? So, and Nilotic people, Nilos still practice pastoralism, hardcore pastoralism. You know what I'm saying? So these lifestyles and these haplogroups and stuff like that, you know, they transcend race. Just because somebody might have learned it from another group, it don't mean that group is superior. You know, I know a lot of people don't like Tommy Sowell, you know, because people think he a coon and all that, and that's fine. But I would suggest that you also read the section. It's a book that he wrote called Politics. It's called it's called Politics. No, it's called Wealth, Poverty, and Politics by Thomas Sowell. And he got a section in there where he talk about Africa, and he talk about why sub-Saharan Africa might have had some trouble, you know, with certain type of developments. Not saying that the people can't develop, but he describes he talks about other cultures as outside of Africa, and he talks about their isolated environment and how they move slower than cultures that's more exposed to other cultures.
Oh yeah, that's because even like Europe, only reason Europe had this industrial period is because what Rome left over.
Yep.
Rome had connections to the east. You know what I'm saying? And they left over those roads and those, you know what I'm saying, those trade routes, you know what I'm saying, leading in from the east to the Silk Roads and all that. They had access to that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, them Germanic tribes when they took over Rome, you know, people in the Dark Age, they emerged from the Dark Age.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They still used the Roman politics. You know, the monasteries that was left over of Rome, what was left over was the Christian monasteries, and they still was trading with the Ottomans and people of the Anatolia in the region. You know what I'm saying? But they had
two different people.
Yeah, another good book on that particular subject of why things are where it is was like, you know, some circumstances is Jared Diamond book, Guns, Germs, and Steel.
You said Guns, Germs, and Steel?
Yeah. He got a good article on there about Africa. Like a good chapter in there about Africa.
And what's the author name?
Jared Diamond.
Is that Jared?
Jared, yeah, Jared Diamond. I got his book. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff like the book a little outdated, you know what I'm saying, for us him, you know what I'm saying, where he's saying, you know, Afro-Asiatic language coming from. I don't know. At first he said it came from Levant or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I guess he changed his mind because Christopher Everett and Sorkieta kind of checked him and kind of changed.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I like about science.
Yeah.
You know, nobody above scrutiny. You know, the scientific community gonna hold you accountable. They gonna hold you accountable, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Because I realized in Jared Diamond book, in this book, he said Semitic. He literally said Semitic is an African language.
Yeah.
African language, man. You know what I'm saying? He said
it. And technically it is. It's just that it's spoken outside of Africa, but now it's spoken inside of Africa too. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, you know, when civilization started to pop up and stuff like that, most Semitic languages emerged in West Asia, yeah. You know, but Semitic diverged from some old Afro-Asiatic speakers that populated, you know, the Levant. And they met up with different people from probably Asia and Central Asia and West Asia, like Anatolian people, you know, and developed their own lingua franca. That's how stuff mutate and change when it meet different, you know, it come in contact with different components, you know, from the source component. It mix in with different components and then it becomes something new. That's the same thing that happened like Egypt, like, you know, people in East Africa not just mixed, you know, people in West Africa mixed too. It's just that people in West Africa, they mix with people, you know, that might have had similar traits. You know, some of them was different, but like when you looking on the outside, they traits might have been similar. Like when you look at them, they might have both been dark skinned or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they still add mix. They still add mix with older groups of people.
Yeah, older group. Yeah, because because the Niger Gaddafi or Niger Congo component is a much later, late Stone Age.
Exactly.
More modernized people.
So when you say the black man is the original man, like you kind of skipping out a bunch of stuff, like, you know, because, you know, we are modern people. You know, we ain't nothing like people before us. We ain't nothing like them. When you actually deal with the science, when you actually observe all this diversity, all this evolution, all these changes and mutations and different migrations and stuff like that, the different lifestyles, like most of us live inside, like most of them people, they live in the elements. You know, we live inside. You know, most of us work inside. Most of us don't go hunting. You know, we don't gather. We don't do none of that. The only time we gather is when we go to the market. You know, and we gather food products and cleaning products. So that alone should tell you how different we are from the proto people that led up to our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is different than what they was. Not just Egyptians, not just whatever, you know, not just Mexicans. You know, it's something about African Americans. They think everybody mixed with them just because they dark skinned, or some of them might be dark skinned, but they fail to realize that their ancestor looked white. You know, he was biracial. A lot of y'all got biracial grandparent or great grandparents, but y'all sitting up here talk about these Egyptians as Arabs because they don't look like other Africans. You know, it just don't make sense, man. With the correct mindset, African Americans here can be the ones to take advantage of the opportunities to generate generational wealth from Africa, but also give back to Africa in a reciprocal manner. Yeah, but we stuck in that. Most of us, we stuck in that cracker man, that black redneck mentality. You know what I'm saying? We stuck in that black redneck mentality. So, you know, we can't really get past it, dog. All you can do is, train up your kids, man. That's it. Try to have them in a peaceful household, so they can hear themselves think and process their thoughts, and teach them how to articulate and research and work. Teach them work ethic, and teach them that you can travel the world. You can go to Africa and do business, and come back to America and do business. A lot of these people out here nowadays, a lot of our people, we kind of, but you can see it when you dealing with like this human diversity and stuff. We stuck in the Jim Crow era, but this 2024, man, science has taken a major leap since then. And the thing that's funny about genetics is, we talk about genetics for our enthusiasm, but they actually study genetics to develop medical solutions. I talked about this before, but most of the time they study in genetics to understand why the root cause of some of these diseases and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a greater cause to genetic studies, but they also use what they have to generate more income too. Yeah. So people can know their origin, so they can know where they come from. So it's a win-win situation. So I urge y'all, some of y'all hotel maniacs, Egyptomaniacs, y'all want to be North Africans and stuff like that. Y'all need to go get a genetics test. And then y'all need to get on Facebook and join North African Genetics group and see all them North Africans that's more African than you. And they look like Tony Montana. I mean, they look like French Montana, and they look like them Arab, them soccer players that play for Morocco. They look like them, but they more African than you. You got European ancestry. Talk about you more African than somebody because you black. So anyway, I'm gonna shut down this show, man. I hope y'all went to go subscribe to the Jahiz Podcast. He's a great content creator, and he dropping probably more knowledgeable information than me. You know what I'm saying? As far as the details and specifics of African diversity and genetics. Obviously, you see, he's staying up to date with scholarship. So go subscribe to him. You know what I'm saying? One more comment. I know this may be controversial to us Westerners, but my end goal in the next 10, 15 years is to move to Russia. And that boy say he gonna move to Russia, dog. Man, hey, if you see a way to do it, dog, I'm not against you, man. I'm not against you, bro. Like,
I ain't moving to no Russia. I like smoke my tree. Can't smoke no trees.
What'd you say? I couldn't hear you.
I said you can't smoke no trees in Russia, obviously.
Nah, you gonna be up in there looking like what you call it?
That lady. Yeah.
Yeah, Brittany Griner looking at it.
Yeah, I'm cool on the dictatorship.
Yeah, I mean, America ain't that bad, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why people be hating America so much, dog. But it is what it is, man. Good things come out of bad things. Feel me? So, but yeah, appreciate y'all for passing by. Check me out on the next one, man. I might have him and somebody else on here. Shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate you for coming through, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. Yo.
All right, well, y'all be safe and y'all have a good one. Peace.